This Twins-Red Sox series is brought to you by Santander Bank, member FDIC. And on a Sunday afternoon at Fenway Park, the Red Sox need a win to split the series with Minnesota after disappointing back-to-back losses to the Twins. But Rick Porcello pitches in Game 4. Dave O'Brien alongside Jerry Remy, Red Sox Hall of Famer. Great to see you, my friend. And it's Rick Porcello on the mound trying to right the ship here after 2 bad losses.
Yeah, it has been ugly the last couple of nights here at Fenway Park, and they do need somebody to settle things down for the Red Sox. And it's going to be Rick Porcello getting a start here at Fenway Park, where he's been very, very effective so far this season. 10 starts at Fenway, the 9-0 record, 2.98 ERA. He's held opponents to a .261 batting average and at least 5 innings pitched in all 10 of those starts. And that's the kind of start they need from him today. Red Sox got to get some form of semblance back into these games that they've had the last couple of nights and pick up a win and at least split the series.
Now, it's been wild. I mean, back-to-back nights, 2 completely different games, 2-1 and then 11-9 last night against the last-place Minnesota Twins. So the series finale is coming up here from Fenway. Boston trying to get back within a half a game of first-place Baltimore. It's coming up in just a moment from Fenway. And virtually no wind after what we saw last night with some of those wind bursts well up over 40 miles per hour in the early part of the game. It did settle down eventually, although the wind continued to blow throughout the night, just not as hard as 40-45, and that wreaked havoc on the diamond for sure. Give you a look at the standings now as Baltimore has that 1.5 game lead over the Red Sox, and the Orioles are at home today taking on Corey Kluber and the Cleveland Indians. That's a tough task for Baltimore, but they've had very few home games over the last month. Toronto now 3 games behind at 54 and 44. Rick Porcello at 12-2 taking the Red Sox out of the diamond. It's Junior Announcer Day, and here with the New England Chevy Dealers Twins lineup, it's Rafe from Marion, Indiana.
Thanks, Mr. O'Brien. Here is today's Twins lineup. Leading off at shortstop, Eduardo Nunez. At first base, Joe Meyer. At third, Miguel Sano. The second baseman, Brian Dozier. In right field, Max Kepler. The designated hitter, Kenny Vargas. In left field, Eddie Rosario. The catcher, Juan Centeno. And in center field, Byron Buxton.
Rafe's got some pipes. Nicely done. Red Sox starting pitcher presented by New England Audi Dealers. Porcello has become Mr. Fenway with that perfect 9-0 record at home. Last Red Sox pitcher to begin a season 10-0 at Fenway was in 1961, Don Schwal.
The Red Sox defense is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. They are 8th in the league with 53 errors in 95 games. Aaron Hill will be at third base. Xander Bogaerts, the shortstop. Dustin Pedroia at second. And Travis Shaw, the first baseman. Left to right, Bryce Brents, Jackie Bradley Jr. and Brock Holt. And Ryan Hannigan doing the catching for Porcello.
Here are the umpires today, brought to you by ToyotaCertified.com. Paul Emmel, Bob Davidson, Dan Isanya, and Clint Fagan. Emmel behind the plate here in Game 4. Where available, this telecast can be heard in Spanish by selecting the SAP button on your TV remote. SAP presented by ToyotaCertified.com. Search for your factory-backed Toyota Certified used vehicle right now.
Buenas tardes, amigos.
And here's your weather for this afternoon. It's just beautiful. Temperature right now at 86. Partly cloudy, lots of sun. Nunez to climb in here against Porcello was set for the first pitch. In there for strike one, and we're underway. Red Sox have won all 10 of Porcello's Fenway starts and are 14-5 overall when he's on the mound.
Fastball followed by a curveball will start off this game, and quickly ahead, no balls and 2 strikes for Porcello. You see the last 7 starts, 5-0, 2.47.
0-2 on the way inside. Mauer on deck. Red Sox have done a good job for the most part keeping Nunez off the bases. He's only 2 for 14 in the series, and he can really run. And the 1-2 from the righty. He got him. He strikes him out to start his afternoon.
Well, we talk about it so many times where Porcello is pitching. When he needs a strikeout, he generally goes to that high fastball. That time they elevate up and away from Nunez to pick up the strikeout. Rick had 3 in his last outing against the San Francisco Giants.
That'll bring up Mauer, hitting just .262, 8 homers, 30 runs batted in. He did not play last night in the wild one here at Fenway. Game that saw David Price on the mound against a team with the American League's worst record. Red Sox scored 9 times on 15 hits and somehow lost the game. So Porcello trying to get the Red Sox to bounce back into the win column here today and shake that one off. Shake off the last 2. The 0-1. Foul tipped into the middle.
Looked like a cut fastball that time from Porcello. Second time he's faced Minnesota this year. No decision in 1 outing, but went 7 innings in that game, giving up 5 hits and only the 1 earned run. There's the cutter inside to Joe Mauer.
The 0-2 pitch to the 3-time batting champ, and he lifts a fly to left field, driving back Bryce Brents, and that's going to be over his head. He plays it on the warning track and will play him into a long single. Bit of a stumble there. Throw back to first. He's safe. We'll see if the Red Sox challenge this immediately, because Mauer, after taking the big turn, lost his footing and had to scamper back to first.
Yeah, 2 very good plays. First by Brents and then Pedroia to get that throw back to first base. The tag is around the hip. Did the hand get back in? I believe it did before the tag. Here you see Brents, he's in tight against the wall, but he's able to smother the baseball, and then immediately Pedroia on the bounce knows he's got a chance to go to first base, and they almost do get Mauer.
No challenge, though. He's safely back in after the base hit. It sends up the big third baseman, Miguel Sano. Really takes up that batter's box at 6'4", 262 pounds. Hitting .251 and 15 home runs. Hit one last night. He tried again and came up empty. He's facing Porcello for the first time in his career. Porcello's thrown 8 pitches, 7 strikes. And another one. That one flicked foul.
That fastball at 93 again. That's the one that he likes to elevate. And that time up in the zone and away from Sano. Gets the foul ball.
Porcello has pitched against Minnesota a lot in his career. He's made 26 starts before today against them, with all of those years in the same division. In Detroit, 8-9 with a 3.87 ERA. 1-2.
That was by design also. You could see Hannigan behind the plate prior to the pitch, getting out of his crouch. He wanted that high fastball and hoped that Sano would chase it. Watch Hannigan. He comes right upstairs.
See if they go back to that 4-seamer. The 1-2. High pop up. Into short right center. Holt and Bradley coming on, and Jackie Bradley takes command for the second out. Dozier will be next. When you're rattling off those numbers on Porcello, 9-0 at Fenway Park, 12-2 overall, I would have bet almost anything at the beginning of the season you would have been talking about those numbers connected to David Price.
I agree, you know, and Price admits it. I mean, he comes out, he's very honest after the ball game, saying this is not him, he's not pitching well, and that was a good example again last night, how he's just not himself right now. Porcello has been the complete opposite.
Dozier 249 with 17 homers. He rattles that one foul. And Price has been very honest about his lack of performance and how disappointing it has been. And knocked all over the place last night at 5 2/3, 11 hits. You know, David Price has a lot more hits than any pitcher in the big leagues.
Now, you told me that prior to the ball game. I was stunned when I heard that number.
You know, Porcello went through a lot of that same stuff last year and has recovered this year in his second year under the big contract. Red Sox don't want to wait for that to happen with Price. They don't want to be waiting for next year. They want the left-hander who's been so good in his career to be that way again right now. They desperately need that to be true for the rest of the season. 1-1 is loop foul out of play by Dozier.
Good pitch there by Porcello. Again, the cut fastball away from Dozier, and a good job by Dozier to foul that off. It's one that you have to swing at because it could be a called third strike, and a very protective swing, but he does make contact and gives himself another chance.
No score, top of the first inning. And a 1-2 pitch from Rick Porcello. Scooped up by Hannigan in a fine play. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, nice backhanded play by Ryan Hannigan to keep a man out of scoring position. Acting like a first baseman here as he goes into his stretch and backhands the ball on one hop. That keeps Mauer at first base.
Got to be a picnic for Hannigan not catching Stephen Wright. This is a great day for him, even though Wright's been brilliant this season. It is a day and a half worth of work back there with the knuckleballer. Here comes the 2-2. Fouled out of play again.
A little bit of a mislocation that time. You know, that's one that Porcello wanted to start outside, off the outside part of the plate, and bring it back to the outside corner. Instead, he got a little too much of the plate with it, and fortunately, a foul ball.
Mauer on at first base and 2 down. Porcello struck out the first man he faced today. Dozier's a guy who takes a big swing. 2-2. Just inside. Paul Emmel behind the plate. Last night's umpire, Clint Fagan, got a lot of funny looks from both dugouts. He had a rough night back there. So 3-2. That means Mauer's off to the races with 2 down. He takes off, and it's popped up and playable. Hannigan and Porcello, and here comes Shaw. He's calling everybody off and makes the play to retire the side. The Red Sox have Holt, Pedroia, Bogaerts coming up in the first. No score. Don't do that. Okay. Oh, the starting pitcher. Okay, sorry. Gotcha. My bad. My bad. I'm an idiot. Nope, it's on me. Sox coming up for the first time. It's Junior Announcer Day, and here with the Red Sox lineup brought to you by BuyAToyota.com, Toyota's website for deals. Here's Tommy from Westford, Mass.
Thanks, Mr. O'Brien. Here's today's Red Sox lineup. Leading off in right field, Brock Holtz. At second base, Dustin Pedroia. At shortstop, Xander Bogaerts. The DH, Hanley Ramirez. In center field, Jackie Bradley Jr. At third base, Aaron Hill. At first, Travis Shaw. In left field, Bryce Brents. The catcher, Ryan Hannigan.
Tommy, my man, perfect. Exceptional work there. Brocco leading off 265, 5 homers, 24 runs batted in, leading off for the second straight game with Mookie Betts out with that sore knee. Waves at a pitch in the dirt, and down he goes. Centennial throws him out to complete the K. 1 away. The Twins starting pitcher brought to you by McDonald's. I'm loving it. Tommy Milone 3-2, 4.71 the ERA. Comes in pitching well. He's won 3 in a row.
The Twins defense is brought to you by DraftKings. Last in the American League, 69 errors. Sano, Nunez, Dozier, and Mauer in the infield. In the outfield, Rosario, Buxton, Kepler. Centennial doing the catching for Malone.
And Dustin Pedroia, the batter, hitting .304. He's had a very good series. Goes after the first pitch and a routine fly ball to Buxton in center field. And that's 2 fast outs for the Sox, and Bogaerts next.
This is the fifth career start that Malone has made against the Red Sox. He's 0-2 against Boston with a 9.64 ERA in those starts.
He's had a rough time at Fenway in particular, where he's really been knocked around. Xander will get in there hitting .329 with 11 home runs. And he's had an excellent homestand. 5-game hitting streak, 11 for his last 22. And he loves to face Minnesota. And the first one from the lefty, a strike. In 6 games against the Twins, Xander Bogaerts is 18 for 28. That's a .643 average. As Bogaerts fouls that one into the mitt.
That's a good change up there by Malone as he keeps it down and away from Bogaerts.
Xander last night was 4 for 6. That's his third 4-hit game against Minnesota this season. Pulls that one foul wickedly. Time now to see who's been driving the ball, presented by Toyo Tires. Xander Bogaerts with a 5-game hit streak. 2 RBIs, 6 runs. Toyo Tires is the official tire of the Boston Red Sox.
Well, that fastball way inside to Bogaerts, cleans it out, lines it foul. Let's see if they go back to the changeup down and away.
Hanley Ramirez is the DH. He's on deck. David Ortiz is resting today.
Fastball away.
Tommy Milone, the left-hander, beat Detroit his last time out 6-2. Tossed to Gems. Went 8 1/3 innings. He allowed only 4 hits and 2 runs. He was very tough. And the 0-2 lunging and a line drive base hit into right field. That was on a changeup. And naturally, Bogaerts is on right away in his first at bat against Minnesota.
And that's how you hit 300 on a season. You take pitches like this. Now, a pretty good pitch. You can see the changeup down and away, and Bogaerts reaching across the plate, almost one-handing that ball into right field for the 2-strike base hit. Beautiful job there by Bogaerts.
6-game hitting streak, 12 for 23. He's on fire again. He had gone through a bit of a slump. He's certainly out of that. And that brings up Hanley Ramirez, who blasted a 3-run homer here last night. At that time, it was looking very promising for the Red Sox. But the bullpen could not hold it. Red Sox allowed 19 hits in that loss. And this is not a juggernaut of a Minnesota team offensively. They're about in the middle of the pack. In for a strike.
Well, last night, Hanley Ramirez with the home run. That pitch inside, and he cleans it out as he pulls it for the home run. That ball well up into the monster seats. Number 12 for Ramirez on the season.
His 4th in 4 games. Of course, he had a 3-homer game. He pops that one up. First baseman Mauer ranging toward the netting, and room to make the play, and that will retire the side. No runs ahead, 1 left after 1, no score. The scoreless innings among the active streaks in the American League. Porcello now at 13 1/3 after a scoreless first inning. Aroldis Chapman on that list. There are some trade stories swirling around him that the Yankees are ready to deal him, perhaps. Max Kepler leads things off here, and he'll take ball 1 to lead off the second inning. No score at Fenway. Kepler hitting .240, 10 homers, 36 runs batted in. Talented outfielder with some power from Germany. And a ball to make it 2-0.
Yeah, Porcello can't believe it. That's a pitch he's going to have. He wants to work the bottom of the strike zone, and that's a strike. To see the location of this pitch, I mean, very good pitch by Porcello, but not getting the call.
2-0 to Kepler. Hard hit grounder off the glove of Bogaerts. It ricochets into the outfield. And Kepler is on. It's a play we've seen Xander make several times, but not on this occasion.
Yeah, this will be an interesting call. Probably go as an error as Bogaerts tries to backhand this play. He didn't even take a crossover step, just a slight jab step to his right, and the ball was hit hard, but one that he could have handled.
The Red Sox last couple of days have not been good defensively, and that will be an E6. That'll send up Vargas, the DH, 318, 3 homers, 5 runs batted in. And a big DH out of that 6th spot. That's a strike. Vargas takes up residency in that batter's box at 6'5", 289. 25 years old, so he may get a little bigger. The 0-1. Got jammed there, and it's quickly 0-2.
Yeah, cut fastball back right in the hands that time of Vargas. Good numbers against Porcello, 3 for 5 with a home run. But that ball tied him up right there as he just topped it into foul territory.
Kepler on at first base. He runs pretty well. Nobody out, 2 strikes on Vargas. Vargas, the guy who made a terrific slide at home plate last night. Originally ruled out, then they overturned it on review. They got the call right when they did overturn it because he was safe. With a terrific slide, he got the plate with his fingers. Not a lot went right for the Red Sox last night. And the 1-2.
Oh man,
just missed according to the umpire. Back to last night in that slide at home plate. Jackie Bradley came up gunning. Looked like Leon had gotten him. The umpire thought so. But on further review, he got that plate with their right hand.
Yeah, quick work with the hands that time by Vargas. Faking it with the left and getting it with the right.
Very agile for a big guy. And the 2-2. He thought about it. He checked his swing. And the count runs full.
And by the way, Porcello should have had that pitch before. That was also a strike that was not called. So he's had a couple here in this inning that have not gone his way that should have been strikes. This is the one I'm talking about here. It's that 2-seamer that comes back. And if that's not a strike, nothing is.
3-2 and downstairs. That one did miss for ball 4. So that'll put runners at first and second. And nobody out. This summer you can pump up the fun with Irving Oil's $5 million giveaway. With 3 ways to play, you could drive away with a Ford Escape, $5,000 in cash, with a grand prize of $100,000. Get your game ticket at Irving Oil today.
And already a confrontation between Porcello and Emmel, the home plate umpire. Porcello was yelling something in after that last pitch, and Emmel started to take a couple of steps out toward him. Here's Porcello saying something to the home plate umpire, and Emmel he took about 2 or 3 steps out toward the plate, but just stopped.
And Hannigan came out to calm him down a bit. Rosario 262 with 5 homers. 2 for 6 with a home run against Porcello in his career. No score here in the second inning, but a threat here from Minnesota with 2 aboard. And the 1-0 to the second baseman, Dustin Pedroia. To Bogarts, not in time for the double play, so they're safe on the corners. Kepler advancing to third, and Rosario to first with 1 away.
Yeah, just not hit hard enough to get a double play. The big bouncer towards second base, and Dustin tries to quicken it up as much as possible, but Bogarts coming across the bag, overhand toss, but not in time to get Rosario running down that first base line, who runs well.
Brings up Juan Centeno to catcher. 245 with 2 home runs. He had to come on last night when Kurt Suzuki, the #1 catcher, took a foul tip off the face mask and opened up a cut on his chin, requiring 8 stitches. Fly ball pretty well hit into left center field. On a run, Jackie Bradley. He slides. He can't get to it. It's off the base of the wall. 1 run is in. Here comes Rosario, and he is in to score. 2 runs in to make it 2-0 Minnesota on the double by Centeno. Jackie Bradley going into the slide, couldn't get it.
That's a tough play for Bradley because you're very close to the wall and you really don't know what to do. So he goes into the slide. He actually gets glove on it, but he couldn't close it up. That's a very difficult play because you don't know if you're going to run into the wall right there. You know you're on the warning track already, so you know you're getting close. So he goes into the slide. It's amazing he got glove on it, but then couldn't control the baseball.
So 2 RBI double from the #8 hitter and the backup catcher. And 2-0 Twins here in the second inning. Brings up Byron Buxton, the center fielder, hitting just .202 with 1 home run. He is 0 for 3 against Porcello in his career, and that one gets away from Hannigan. It clangs away all the way to the backstop, and Centennial will advance to third base. So Hannigan has trouble with this one.
Now it's a 2-seam fastball that time. You'll see it right here as it comes back toward Hannigan, but clanks right off the end of the glove, and he had no idea where the ball was. He's looking for it in front of him. He thought he maybe blocked it, but then all of a sudden picks it up as it heads back toward the wall. So the Red Sox pull the infield in, already down by 2 runs with the 1 out.
This is an ugly inning. It started with the error by Xander Bogaerts. Now a pass ball. 2 runs across, and that's in there for a strike.
Let's see if they play contact here. If they get a ground ball, will they send that runner at third base?
A lot of times with 1 out, they'll do that. So infielders have to be aware of that. That's why they're in so tight.
Porcello's 1-1. Tied him up inside with a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. It's 1-2.
Getting back to that point just for a second, if there was nobody out, they'd probably be back about 3 or 4 steps, not expecting them to run. But with 1 out in the inning, it makes a big difference. A lot of times managers will send the runner with 1 out, and that's why you see the infield pulled in.
1-2, and looked like he went, and he did. The home plate umpire Emil will ring him up, and that is strike 3, and a big K there for Porcello, and now the infield can back up.
Big sweeping cutter right there by Porcello, and you can see clearly that Buxton cannot control the head of the bat, so a big strike out there with the man at third base. Now with 2 outs, the infield can go back.
And it'll be the leadoff man Nunez who struck out to begin the day. 2-0 Twins. If Minnesota wins today, they come to Boston and take 3 out of 4, and that would be a shocker. In there for a strike. So he started him off with a curveball. Nunez started the afternoon at 302. He was their all-star pick. Leads the Twins in a bunch of categories and very fleet of foot. The 0-1. Foul back. Nunez now 3 for 11 in his career against Porcello. Has a man at third, but 2 down. The right-hander from Morristown, New Jersey fires, and it's lifted in the air to right field. Brock Holt is playing out there today, and over near the track makes the catch, but Porcello gives up a couple of runs. 2-0 Minnesota. Time of the Geico Red Sox moment, honoring the '86 Red Sox. In a game number 96, the Red Sox would lose 4-1 to the Angels. Bruce Hurst took the loss. He was 5-5 after that. Rich Gedman provided the offense with a solo home run. Red Sox are down 2-0 to Minnesota. As we go to the bottom of the second inning, Jackie Bradley will lead it off against Tommy Malone here on Connecticut Day at Fenway Park. Aaron Hill up next, and then Travis Shaw.
Jackie Bradley 7 for his last 19.
And looks at a strike. Malone very much a controlled pitcher. Hits the upper 80s with the fastball. That's about it. But hits both sides of the plate. And that one on the inside for a strike.
Yeah, last two pitches to Bradley, a cut fastball followed by a changeup.
Changeup is really good. He has a big sweeping curveball as well. The 1-2 coming. Line shot center field and a base hit. That was on a curve. He waited beautifully on that one.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Dave. That's the pitch you were talking about, and it's not a bad breaking ball at all. It's away from Bradley, but he's able to reach out, cover the plate, and smack it into center field for the base hit. Good solid contact on a very, very good pitch by Malone.
Jackie having a good homestand. He's now 8 out of 20 with 3 doubles, a home run, and 5 RBIs. Only been caught once in his career trying to steal. That'll send up Aaron Hill, starting at third today. 190, no homers, 2 runs batted in with the Red Sox, and hitting closer to 280 overall, coming over from Milwaukee in the trade. The 0-1. Loop toward right center field, charging on Buxton. He'll make the play. Jackie Bradley scampers back to first base. 1 man away. On behalf of Major League Baseball, we salute all of Cooperstown, New York on its Hall of Fame weekend and offer congratulations to this year's award winners and the 2016 National Baseball Hall of Fame inductees and their families. There's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Great player. Paul Molitor.
Yep, 3,000 hits. He had, what, a 39-game hitting streak in his career that was ended by a young starting pitcher by the name of John Farrell. They both remember it very well. As Travis Shaw gets in, goes after the first pitch and pops it to center. Nunez out. Buxton in. And they're 2 down.
It's one of those tough days for infielders and outfielders on pop-ups. You see the split screen. Farrell stopping that hitting streak by Paul Molitor.
I think this is true of John Farrell. He had not 1 but 2 Tommy John surgeries in his career. He's a very promising starting pitcher in his early days with the Cleveland Indians. Injury more than anything.
Heck, I was doing games in his early days with the Cleveland Indians at the old ballpark by the lake.
They used to call it a mistake by the lake.
Probably a crowd of 5,000 there for that game.
Here's Bryce Brents. Red Sox are down 2-0 early. Jackie Bradley on at first. Cleveland and Baltimore into the second inning. They have no score in that game. And Malone with a 1-0 pitch to Brents. Flied off the end of the bat to left. Rosario right there, and that will do it. So nothing comes to the leadoff single. And after 2, it is 2-0 Minnesota. partner of Save a Suit. I love this concept. Congratulations on the award. Tell me how you came up with this, or who came up with this.
Thank you. Well, the founder is Scott Sokolowski. He's an Air Force veteran, and we started this charity to give suits to people who need them for their job interviews to make a great first impression. And Scott and I are very passionate about the military and decided to create the Veterans Program to help veterans look the part and get jobs. So.
Good for you. It's a marvelous idea. Marvelous idea. It's obviously been very successful, and I've got to believe the veterans are incredibly grateful.
Yes, absolutely. We get so many testimonials from veterans thanking us, ones that have been unemployed for quite a period of time, and then get benefits from our program and get the job. So we're just so humbled and blessed to have such a great cause and to have helped so many people across the United States.
Why the passion for veterans? Why did you reach out to that particular group?
At the time, we started the Veterans Program about 3 years ago. There was a lot of veterans coming home from the military who were unemployed and were struggling finding career opportunities for them. So we decided that this would be a great opportunity to help those veterans and to help them on their job endeavors.
Oh, we understand that you also received a grant today from the Red Sox Foundation.
Yes, we are so honored to be the recipient. The Boston Red Sox Foundation is amazing. They awarded us with $10,000 today to help our programs. And if anybody wants to learn more about our cause, they can go to saveasuit.org and make a donation, or find out where to drop off suits if they have them at home.
Save a Suit also hosting quarterly events in the tri-state Connecticut area to suit up veterans in need. A ground ball here to first base, and that'll be a quick out as Mauer is set down. I want to thank you so much, Jessica, because this is wonderful. I've got a boy in the military, and anything anyone can do for veterans these days is so appreciated by them first and foremost, but by all Americans, I think.
Definitely, and thank you for your son's service, and we appreciate his service as well.
Thanks so much. Congratulations. Jessica joining us here in the booth. Red Sox are down 2-0 in the third inning. And Miguel Sano, the batter, he has gone 0 for 1 today with a fly out to center. Sano with 15 home runs, got one last night in the 11-9 victory for the Twins. They have won the last 2 in the series. Porcello last inning had a little bit of difficulty with Paul Emmel, the home plate umpire. Not thrilled by a couple of pitches that did not go his way. But the Red Sox also with an error and a pass ball in that inning to help lead to those 2 runs for Minnesota. Twins were actually playing pretty well coming into Fenway. They had taken 2 out of 3 from Detroit and have won 2 out of 3 here so far. The 0-2. He buried it.
Porcello shook off about 5 signs that time from Hannigan, and finally they decided on the changeup. But no chase that time by Sano.
Hot dogs. All the way from 550.
Back to the curveball.
And a rattler foul. DraftKings is the official one-day fantasy baseball partner of the Red Sox. Experience the thrill of playing on DraftKings now. Play free daily using the promo code NESSON at DraftKings.com. Dozier on deck. Porcello looking for a strikeout. The 1-2. And again, that four-seamer just misses.
And again, elevating it, trying to get him to chase that high fastball. 97 times this year Sano struck out, but would not chase that fastball just above the strike zone.
Bases empty and the 2-2 home. He checked his swing and another one that misses.
Yeah, back to back, same pitch, almost same location, up and away, and again Sano will not chase.
Porcello has walked 1 man so far. 3-2 coming, and he strikes him out. So he went to the cutter to fan him.
Now 2 high fastballs. You start thinking about that ball away. He gets another pitch away, but this time with a little wrinkle on it right at the end. It's like you're swinging at a fastball. All of a sudden it disappears and turns into a cutter. And the end result, the strikeout for Porcello.
His third. That'll bring up Dozier, 0 for 1 with a pop to first base. What'd you think of the work done by Edward Scissorhands in Chicago? Chris Sale.
Well, I'll tell you, if it's the uniforms I think that he's talking about back in 1976, if they're the ones that I remember, I think he did the right thing. They were horrible.
Yeah, they were dreadful. Those are the ones with the collars, right?
They had big collars, and I don't know if that's the year, but they also at times wore shorts, like long shorts.
Remember that?
When they had the high stirrups that would come up, and then it, part of their knee would be showing. They were the ugliest things you'd ever want to see.
Softball uniforms.
And I can't blame anybody for not wanting to go out there wearing those things again.
Swing and a miss. Down goes Dozier. 1-2-3 inning for Porcello, his best of the day. After 2.5, 2-0 Minnesota. Two nothing the Twins. The hits are even at 2 apiece as we go to the bottom half of the third inning. Jerry Remy, Dave O'Brien, and Garrett Austin with you. On a sunny Sunday afternoon at Fenway, Ryan Hannigan to lead things off against Tommy Malone as he steps up hitting 183. We were talking about Chris Sale, the gifted pitcher, guy who started the All-Star game for the American League, who cut up the uniforms, the throwback uniforms he did not want to wear, not only his own but his teammates, in the clubhouse before yesterday's game. He was supposed to start that game. They scratched him from the start, and now they've suspended him for 5 games for destruction of team property. And a lot of people are laughing about this, but it's not the first time that those throwback uniforms have been rejected by the White Sox. Also happened in 2001. There wasn't any damage done to the uniforms. They just refused to wear them that year, and they went to something else that night, as they had to last night.
Well, I think it's Major League Baseball that enforces the rules about wearing the throwback uniforms. I know the Red Sox wore the 75 uniforms this past week at home, and that was directed by Major League Baseball, if I'm not mistaken. And I think the same thing happened in Chicago.
Right. Yep.
And as I said, I witnessed those. I played against those uniforms, and I can certainly understand why nobody would want to wear them again. Now, to go around and cut them all up, that's to make sure that they never do reappear again.
Ever again.
So Sale's going to miss a start.
Yeah.
And get a suspension, probably with no pay, over destroying probably the worst uniform that was ever put up by Bill Veeck in the Chicago White Sox.
Remember those shorts? I always thought that was absolutely ridiculous.
It was horrible.
Got to slide in those things. As Brock Holt takes the ball, he's 0 for 1 with a strikeout.
I mean, the first time we saw those things, we couldn't stop laughing, and you honestly felt bad for the opposition that had to wear those things. So I would sail on this. I really am.
I don't think you're alone. I don't think there's anybody in that clubhouse that wasn't with him. That's in there for a called strike. Red Sox trail 2-0 here in the third. Of course, it's not the second. It's the second incident. It's not the first that he's been involved in. It was the spring training stuff over LaRoche's son, where he was very outspoken, blasting the general manager when they wouldn't allow Adam LaRoche's son Drake into the clubhouse as often anymore as they had. And Sale really stepped up as the spokesman and blasted the organization. So there's anger there.
Well, there's also a lot of trade talk there. So maybe Dave Dombrowski is calling today and see if he would like to cut up some Red Sox uniforms.
How'd you feel about the 75 unis?
Compared to what the White Sox are talking about, the 75 look great.
Up the middle, charging Dozier. He'll flip on to get him for the second out in the third. Later today, an encore presentation of Nesson Clubhouse presented by Delta Dental of Massachusetts. Learn how to stretch before a start and new ways to stay safe on the mound. Catch it later today following Red Sox coverage. 75 uniforms. When you go back to the 75 club, they didn't look great on everybody.
No, they were the old. They had no belts, and you had to be in shape to wear them, first of all, because if you had a boiler, I mean, it really stuck out, with those whatever they were made out of.
Sansa belt or whatever it was.
Yeah, Sansa belt. Yeah, that's a good call.
Got to be kidding me.
Used to wear those.
Pedroia 0 for 1 with a fly to center. Here's a look.
Here's the uniforms from the other night. Now, I wore those when I first came to the Red Sox in 1978. Then we switched over to the belts after that. But they actually look better on the players today than they looked on us.
They do. Hooked foul. I think you generally agree with this. Not true of everybody, but ball players today are in better shape.
Oh, absolutely, without question. They stay in shape, but they're in better shape in the offseason. They're in better shape during the season. Continuous workouts.
Xander Bogaerts on deck. 2-0 Twins. Line foul off into the stands. I was at Jim Rice the other day at the Bo Sox luncheon. Jim said he never lifted weights.
He didn't.
Didn't have to.
He didn't.
Did a lot of other things right. Some kind of strong, but never lifted weights. Never picked one up.
Now, for the most part, back then, nobody did.
Yeah, you were told to stay away.
Yeah, you were told to stay away from that kind of training. And basically, the only time you did any stuff like that is if you had some kind of surgery. We were trying to, rebuild your muscles. For example, your knee, if you had a knee surgery, doing a lot of quad exercises and stuff like that. But the training programs they're on today are just remarkable.
2-2 to Pedroia. Check swing, and he caught a piece of it to foul it away.
Yeah, they also keep him up during the season. It's not obviously the same as what they do in the offseason, but there's a maintenance program that they're all on during the season. For us, it was just, put the uniform on, go out and take batting practice, and that was about it. Get your arm loose and play.
Well, today you'll often see players play an entire game, 3.5 hour game, and then go lift.
Yeah.
After meeting with the press, 2-2. Hammered down the line. He ripped it into the corner, and a fair ball. Bounces up against the side wall. That's going to be a long single. Throw back into first base behind Pedroia, but he's on with a single with 2 down.
Yeah, you don't want to take the chance with 2 outs. I mean, that is the time when you take a chance to get in a scoring position. But the fact is, this ball's hit so hard by Pedroia, it's really can only be 1 base. You'll see it go right down that left field line, and a pretty good job there by Rosario to get over there quickly and get it back in. He got the big high bounce. And once Dustin saw that, even though it's an overthrow, he has to put the brakes on.
So Pedroia has now reached base in 27 consecutive games. 9 for 17 in the series. Both he and Bogaerts feasting on Minnesota pitching in this series. Xander 1 for 1 with a base hit. A 2-out single has Pedroia aboard. Hanley Ramirez, the on-deck hitter. No David Ortiz today, as Ortiz has the day off. John Farrell picking his spots to rest some of his guys with all those road games coming up. Road schedule looming, and an 11-game trip right around the corner.
Yeah, very tough trip too, through California, Seattle, and back to play the Dodgers. Long, tough trip coming up for the Red Sox.
One of several. And Malone with a 1-1. Liner off the glove of the diving Sano, off into left field. Pedroia scampers ahead to second and stops there. Bogaerts just continues to own Minnesota.
At that time, he left the changeup up in the zone, and even though it was off speed, Bogaerts able to keep the bat back to make solid contact off the glove of Sano. So with 2 outs, the Red Sox get a couple of base runners and get to Hanley Ramirez.
I mean, these are video game numbers that he's putting up against the Twins. Xander Bogaerts now 20 for 30 against them for the year.
Wow. You know, usually you see that against maybe one pitcher. You know, you got his number, but against a complete team, though, that's very, very impressive by Bogaerts.
He's got the whole staff. It's like they're all tipping, and he's the only guy who really knows it. Here's Hanley. He's 0 for 1. He's popped out to third. Ramirez is hitting .383 in his last 13 home games. Looking to come through right now and get the Red Sox on the board. High fly ball. That one hit deep. Heading for left. Back it goes. And it's gone. And that puts the Red Sox in the lead as Hanley strikes again. His 5th home run in 5 games. Number 13 for Hanley Ramirez.
And we kind of talked about it a few days ago, the fact that, you know, Hanley can get hot, can put up a lot of home runs in a hurry, and that's a changeup that's supposed to be away, and instead it stays middle of the plate and golfed out of Fenway Park by Ramirez.
Nice play made here too.
Yeah, that ball, no interference, because that ball would have landed on the top of the wall anyway.
7 RBIs in the last 5 games for him. Speedway proud to be New England's first choice for value and convenience. For every Red Sox home run this season, Speedway donates $500 to Boston Children's Hospital. All summer long, you get any size fountain or frozen drink for just 69 cents. He has found his power stroke. Hanley Ramirez turning into a very dangerous hitter again.
Yeah, and the thing about Hanley too, he hasn't changed his approach. You know, he's still thinking about right center field, but pulling the ball when he has to.
Jackie Bradley with a trickler charged by Dozier and flips on to get him to retire the side. But the Red Sox now have the lead. Hanley Ramirez again to the monster seats. 3-2 Boston.
A 3-2 lead. I'm Garen Austin. Hi, everyone. Some roster moves today. Joe Kelly was recalled from Pawtucket. John Farrell said they needed a fresh arm that could go multiple innings. Joe Kelly was in the clubhouse today, and he said his transition to reliever has gone much better than he expected. And Farrell said that he's really simplified his attack plan. And Kelly said he'd be lying if he said that he wasn't trying to strike everyone out now as a reliever, because he is. And guys, he said he's just really looking forward to an opportunity to help the team win.
Thanks, Sharon. Well, throwing 98, 99. You'd be trying to strike out everybody, wouldn't you?
Yeah, we talked about that today at our View from the Booth. And
as Kepler launches that one, well hit to right, hold back on the track. He can't get it. It's off the wall. Kepler, good wheels, touching second on his way to third, and the throw will be cut off. So he's into third base with a triple. That's how the fourth inning gets underway just after the Red Sox got 3 runs.
Now, getting back to Kelly for a second, you know, we talked about him as a starting pitcher and a relief pitcher, and coming out of the bullpen's a little bit different story. I mean, you can just let it loose. You're not pacing yourself to get through 6, 7 innings in a ball game, and Kelly's got that kind of fastball where you know, it might be 99 coming out of the bullpen. So we'll see if we get the chance, which we will, to see him work out of the pen.
Good to see Joe back at the big league level. Different role for him. Leadoff triple for Kepler brings up Vargas, who walked his first time in the second inning. 3-2 Red Sox. Red Sox have had a devil of a time maintaining leads against the Twins. Nobody out. Vargas, a guy who swings for the fences. Of his 14 hits this season, 11 have gone for extra bases, 8 doubles, 3 home runs. Sitting .318. And looks at the ball.
Well, nothing close going Porcello's way early in this ball game from Emil behind the plate. That pitch was borderline, but not called a strike.
Porcello with 4 strikeouts thus far.
Wants the changeup on the 2-0 count.
And that's a strike, and maybe a little generous.
Yeah, that one certainly did go his way. You see the changeup that's going to be off the outside edge, but that time called the strike. That's when the umpire has to look across the plate to make the call.
It definitely gave him that call. The 2-1. Ground ball, and there's Dustin Pedroia with the run coming in to score. So the triple costs him, and we are tied up 3-3 as Vargas picks up his 6th RBI. Tonight on Charlie Moore Outdoors, Charlie heads to the Berkshires for some fly fishing and a tour of the world famous Red Lion Inn. Tune in at 6:30 after an all new Ultimate Red Sox show. So a triple and a ground out. And we're tied 3-3. Rosario the batter with 1 down. He reached on a fielder's choice in second inning and scored, which was a sloppy inning for the Red Sox. It was an error by Bogaerts and a pass ball charged to Ryan Hannigan. The Detroit Tigers will visit next. We get our first look at the Tigers with Justin Verlander on the mound tomorrow night at 7:10 against Drew Pomeranz. Will make his second Red Sox start. Verlander's 9-6, 3.74 ERA.
Yeah, really pitched well too over his last 3 starts.
It could be a very tough series for the Red Sox because on Wednesday afternoon they pitched the right-hander Michael Fulmer. He's 9-2 with a 2.41. That is not going to be an easy one at all. A cut and a miss here, Rosario. That one eats him up. Fastball in tight, and he strikes out. Take a look at tomorrow's pitching matchup. Verlander against Pomeranz. This closer look brought to you by FW Web. Selection, expertise, solutions. More at FWWeb.com.
You see those last 3 starts for Verlander. 1-0 with a 1.74 ERA.
Not the flamethrower that he used to be, but he's pitching pretty well. Here's Juan Centeno now, the catcher. Had a 2-run double his first time up. We're even 3 apiece. Byron Buxton on deck. And the 1-0. Foul tipped it. Porcello coming into this tilt, third in the American League in wins. Number 2 in walks per 9, fewest walks per 9 innings. And leading the American League in home victories, 9-0 at Fenway Park. The 1-1 goes to the breaking ball again.
A lot of off-speed pitches here to Centeno. Changeup followed by curveball. After falling behind an account 1-0.
Centeno, catcher from Puerto Rico,
wants to curve again.
Did he check his swing? He did. Third base umpire Clint Fagan said no swing on a curveball in the dirt.
It's almost automatic. You get a ball in the dirt like that and the hitter starts his swing, you always check just in case. But I think they made the right call. He did hold up.
Porcello has struck out 5. He's walked 1. And he has allowed 3 hits. And he brings the 2-2 to the number 8 hitter. And he got him. He struck him out looking. They get a run though to tie it, and we're even 3-3 in the 4th. Joseph Abboud, custom made in the USA of fine Italian fabrics, available at Men's Warehouse.
My.
Everybody's asking us, when do you go to the polos? Under what conditions do you get out of the suits? The slick jackets and ties.
I think the official Nesson rule is 85 and above. We can go to polos. I think that's it.
Did we make up that rule, you and I?
No. That came down from much higher than us.
Okay.
So I think we're kind of flirting with the rule today a little bit.
Very close. Was 86, so we just made it. Just made the cutoff.
I think tomorrow night's supposed to get really hot again, hot and muggy. So it looks like another night of polos.
I like them.
Yeah,
I was talking,
I do too.
talking with Jack McCormick, the Red Sox outstanding director of team travel. He said, you guys actually, you look like you're in a summer mode. And I love the suits and ties too.
See, we're fine. We were not going to get fined today. It's 88.
Oh, I didn't know there was a fine involved.
Oh yeah.
You didn't tell me that. I'm a little tight with a buck. That one foul down the line off the bat of Aaron Hill, and that goes for a guy who paid $56 for a bagel in New York for room service.
I got so many tweets about your expensive breakfast after that. It was incredible.
It was embarrassing is what it was.
Yeah, next time.
Mortifying.
Just give me a little advice. Go to the little coffee shop downstairs. You'll get the same thing, maybe even better, for $7.
$7.
$7.
I like to tip. So the tip was part of that. But when I tell people that, they're like,
oh, wait a minute.
You still made a fool of yourself.
What are you giving, a $40 tip? I mean, it costs $30 just to get it to your room.
That's right.
Service charge.
Service charges are unbelievable in New York. I will say it was a great bagel. 3-2 fouled away by Hill. Travis Shaw on deck.
That better be a great bagel for $56. I tell you, that better be the best Don bagel you've ever had in your life.
Better make a tuition payment along with it. Tied up 3-3 here in the fourth. Hill 0 for 6 against Tommy Milone in his career. That one hit gently to third near the bag. Sano, and he has an excellent arm, which he does not mind showing off. One man away. MLB.TV Premium is everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game on all 30 teams in true high def on over 400 supported devices. Visit MLB.TV for details.
I'll tell you, you don't see many infielders with an arm like Sano has. That was an absolute bullet across the diamond. It's fun to watch guys that have fantastic arms.
Travis Shaw went for the first pitch the first time and flied out. He's 0 for 1.
One more look at the throw. I mean, he's right on the line and then zip. I mean, there's no loop in that at all.
He's just gigantic over there too. That'll be a ball. He's the biggest third baseman I've seen in a while. 6'4", 6'5", 262 pounds. They think he could develop into a star. The 2-0 popped him up. Fly it into left center, ranging over Buxton along with Rosario. Rosario will take it, and there are 2 down. Bryce Brentz will be next. So the Red Sox about to open up a 3-game series with Detroit and then hit the road for California and also Seattle and then back to Los Angeles. So it's the Angels, the Mariners, and then the Dodgers.
That's a 4-4-3, right?
Yes. And the Red Sox will not be back home at Fenway until the 9th of August against the Yankees. Very few home games actually remaining on the schedule. This is the last truly long homestand of 2016. A 9-gamer, nothing longer than 7 games the rest of the way. In there for a strike on Brentz.
While you're on that road trip, I'm going to be down in Pawtucket on August the 7th. I've actually been asked to throw out the first pitch for the Paw Sox on the 7th.
Yeah, you ready to do it?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Have any other duties while you're there except for the pitch?
Yeah, I shake some hands, meet some sponsors. I throw out the first pitch, and I sign autographs for 2 innings. So it's going to be a fun day.
Nice. The 2-1 up the middle for a base hit. Into the alley. Buxton over to cut it. It'll be a lengthy single for Bryce Brent, so he's on with 2 down.
Yeah, good job by Brent staying back on the changeup that time and able to take it up the middle for the base hit. And, you know, when you make contact like this and you see it go to the left of the shortstop, you're thinking about 2. But they do a very good job in the outfield with their speed to get out in front and get this ball back in and keep Brent at first base. Watch Buxton go over and then charge that ball and quickly get it back in, so you keep that man out of scoring position with 2 outs.
Hannigan is 0 for 1 as he bats for the second time today. He struck out his first time up and is 0 for 5 against Tommy Milone, the left-hander from California. Milone making his 5th career start against the Red Sox, and before today the Red Sox had pounded him. He was 0-2 with a .964 earned run average. Faced the Red Sox once last year. It's pretty short. A 5-inning no decision, gave up 4 runs, 9 hits. So he's not been a mystery to Boston. Count 1-1. Cleveland and Baltimore are still scoreless, 0-0. They've gone into the 4th inning. Toronto is into the 5th inning against Seattle. Popped into right center field. Racing in is Kepler, and he slides and makes a very graceful play. He's a really fine athlete. One man left, still tied 3-3. Inning, we're locked up 3-3. The Red Sox and the Minnesota Twins in the last game of the series. And Rick Porcello trying for his 13th win of the year. Facing Byron Buxton here, the number 9 hitter, and then it'll be Nunez and Mauer. Buxton fanned in the 2nd inning. He strikes out a lot. And he's looking to drop down a bunt too hard. Porcello in front of the mound and guns a strike to get him.
That's a good thing too, because you know he's got such good speed. Anything down that third base line he's got a chance to beat out, but he bunts this right back to Porcello. The angle of the bat not very good right there for Buxton. You can see as he squares around, it just kind of pushes it back toward the pitcher instead of getting the bat head out and dropping it down the third base line. And from that point, he becomes a fairly easy out.
Nunez next, 0 for 2. He has struck out and flied to right field. One of the highlights of the season so far for us has been the visit by the great Rod Carew, the Minnesota Twins legend, in the booth. We were talking a lot about bunting. Who taught you how to bunt? Who do you lean on early in your career and go, show me some of the finer points?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, I learned a lot at the minor league level on how to do that.
Chopper off the glove, rolls right at the feet of Porcello. He scoops in, gets another out, 2 down.
And quite frankly, I did learn a lot from Rod Carew watching him when I got to the big league level, because he was the best in the business at it. I mean, he could drop bunts down the third base line, first base line. I never really grabbed the concept of being a really good bunter down the third base line. I was too anxious to get moving. And so I used to drag the bunt most of the time out towards second base, first base, second base, try to get it between the pitch and get 3 guys moving. But he could bunt anywhere, third base, first base. He just could do it all. I also learned as time went on how to start a bunt and then hit a ground ball to shortstop, because you'd get the third baseman charging in, and if you got the ball by him, then it became almost an impossible play for the shortstop to make. So it was kind of like a half bunt, half swing.
Joe Mauer looking to strike. So when did you start doing that? Was that at the major league level?
It was at the major league level, and I started it probably about midway through my career. Didn't get a lot of hits that way, didn't try it a lot, but got fortunate a couple of times to pick up some hits that way. But the third baseman, for some reason, would always play me in, and I almost never bunted to third. So I took advantage of that by having him charge. You know, when you fake a bunt down there and just kind of just chop at the ball and try to hit it right at the shortstop who was playing deep. If they were playing me deep, that's what I would try to do.
Did they ever have a bunt sign on for you, or you were on your own?
No, I was on my own, except for sacrifice attempts, of course.
Mara singled in the first inning and grounded out in the third inning. We're tied up 3-3. And Pedroia right there down on the knee, and that's a fast fifth inning for Rick Porcello. Gets him in order. Let's go live to our studio with TC and Steve Lyons for the mid-fifth studio show presented by GMC. Vince, thank you very much. As you look at that sunshine on this gorgeous day here at Fenway, unless you're playing right field at Fenway Park. Brock Holt, and the guys were just talking about him, has struck out and grounded out. I don't think there's any question. Brock Holt's a fine outfielder. He's been good wherever he's played, but there's no question the Red Sox have missed Mookie Betts.
Oh, without a doubt. You know, and nothing against Brock Holt, but I mean, Mookie Betts probably makes that play.
And I think he makes at least one of those plays in right field last night on a play Martinez couldn't make. Now here's Mookie working out earlier. I think there's a really good chance he will play tomorrow.
That's what John Farrell has been kind of hinting at, that Betts would be back in the lineup Monday against the Tigers. Of course, a lot will depend on how he came out of the workout today.
The MRI showed no structural damage. No meniscus tear, anything like that. He does have some swelling in that knee. So Brock moving over from left field to right field. Also played some infield. Played some second base on this homestand. Dustin Pedroia next, and then Xander Bogaerts. Two guys who just eat up the Minnesota Twins pitching staff.
You know, Dave, just to get back to that bunting we were talking about last inning, and when I got, when Don Zimmer got to be manager of the Texas Rangers, of course I played for Zim here. He saw plenty of bunt base hits from me.
The 2-2, and it is strike three.
Pretty nasty pitch right there. The fastball down and away from Brock Holt. Brock Holt not real happy. He says, let's give it to our guy too. But you see the pitch down on the outside part of the plate. I thought it was a good pitch. And Holt didn't like it, but he says something, and I'm quite sure he said, give it to our guy too. Give it to Porcello. Porcello's had a couple of missed early in the ball game.
Here's Pedroia 1 for 2 with a single.
Getting back to that story, you know, Zimmer knew that I like to drag bunt. So what he did against me with nobody on base, he used to pull a second baseman in with like he was playing the infield in to take the bunt away. And one time I got a ground ball by him, and I just laughed at Zim in the dugout.
Did he laugh back?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did. But I looked up and I couldn't believe it. There's nobody on base. I'm up there in a bunt situation, and he's got the second baseman played in on the grass with the infield in. It was just hilarious, and he did it a couple of times effectively. But then I finally beat him. We had a good laugh over it. Then he started playing it back again a little bit.
1-1 on Pedroia. How were you on the suicide squeeze?
You know, the funny thing is, I was never called upon that very, very often. I would say, you know, thinking back, maybe 4 or 5 times.
Really?
Yeah, I always thought it was an easy bunt, you know, because you didn't have to make it perfect.
There's a high fly ball, jack to left field. Back it goes. Kiss it goodbye. Number 10 for Pedroia. The Red Sox are back in the lead 4-3. That got out quickly.
And we think of Pedroia is a high ball hitter, but watch the location of this pitch. It's going to be down in the strike zone, and Pedroia with good solid contact there. That ball got out very, very quickly. So the Red Sox have the long ball going for him here this afternoon.
Makes him 7 for 13 against the lefty Malone. I think Pedroia and Bogaerts are having a contest. Who can hit Minnesota better? Both of them are crushing them in the series and throughout the year. That's in for a strike on Bogaerts, who's 2 for 2 in this one, and 20 for 30 against their staff this season. And the 0-1 makes him move his feet.
And just get back to that point, and then we'll drop it about the suicide squeeze. I always felt that was the easiest one to do because all you had to do was get the ball on the ground. You didn't have to place it anywhere. You could bunt it right back to the pitcher with the runner taking off from third.
1-1 off the middle, and he's going to squeak another one through for a base hit. He's 3 for 3 in this one after 4 hits last night. Tonight at 10 on NESN Sports Today, Jerry recaps today's finale against the Twins, and we'll talk about the Hall of Fame ceremony in Cooperstown. It's tonight at 10 on NESN Sports Today, presented by People's United Bank. I always looked at it that way, that you didn't have to be a great bunter to be a good suicide squeeze guy.
No, not at all. You just got to concentrate on getting the ball on the ground anywhere, because it is suicide squeeze. I mean, that man's coming in from third base, so you just get it down, you got yourself a run. I love the play.
And Ramirez now, he has crushed a 3-run homer. His 13th of the season. Actually, his barely got out. Hit it very high. The runner goes, have got it picked. Bogaerts trying to slide in the tag, and he is out. So they sniffed that out, and Xander Bogaerts is retired at second.
Yeah, a little surprised to see that, especially with Hanley at the plate. You know, Hanley showing this home run power, and Bogaerts gets picked off first base. He's taking off on the first move that he sees by Malone, and becomes an easy target at second base.
1-3-4, technically a caught stealing.
I think the Red Sox may be looking to see if they want to look at it. They think that Bogaerts might have got his right hand in.
Yeah, John Farrell is challenging this.
Yeah, if you look at it closely again, watch his right hand come around. Now, was the tag there before the hand got to the bag? That's the question. A little difficult to see from that angle. Take another look. This may give us a better look if the tag is on. Tough to tell. The tag was up around the belt. The hand reached around. Now that one there, it looks to me like he might be out.
Well, Xander Bogaerts has gone all the way back to the dugout. He's not even bothering to linger. Was able to hang on to the bag, so he didn't slide beyond it. There wasn't an extra tag, a secondary tag. Do they have enough evidence?
Yeah, it's very, very close. It's a tough one to call, but I think it's going to be held up. We'll see.
I didn't see enough evidence to overturn that call.
No.
Let's blow it up.
Watch the right hand. Does it get in the bag before a tag? Ooh. Wow. Now on that angle, it looks like it is.
Xander may pop out of that dugout here in a moment.
Yeah, on that one, that's a great shot. Watch the right hand. It's on the bag, and the tag's not there yet.
That looks like he's safe there. Oh, it's very close. Yeah, I think he might have gotten in.
I agree with you, Dave. That's a great shot.
And they are privy to that. And all of that, the blow up and everything else that we just showed you in New York at the Review Center, they do look at that. They do get a look. Is that enough? Will they overturn it? He's safe.
Come on back, Xander. Come on back.
So despite the pickoff, he beats it.
Now I'm going to analyze this. That was a great decision by Bogaerts.
He is safely in his second with one man out. Now you love replay.
This is a terrific shot of it right here as you see it blown up, and that hand clearly. I'm going to tell you something. Guys today are so much better at sliding than they were years ago. I mean, the head first slide, the reach around tags, it's amazing.
Vargas did it last night on a terrific slide at home plate for Minnesota. Got him a run. He was initially called out. I don't think they were going to reverse that call until
they saw that big version.
Until they saw that blown up version of it. And that's what turned it.
I think it turned our minds around too, Dave.
Yep. Red Sox up 4-3. They've homered twice. Hanley Ramirez has one. Dustin Pedroia just hit the second one. And the strike.
You know, it used to be it was pretty much a straight in feet first slide. I mean, you really couldn't do very much as far as maneuvering. But you see Bogaerts there showing how the right hand got around. And these guys today really do a terrific job of sliding and reaching around, and makes it a lot more difficult for infielders to get tags on.
It's his 12th stolen base, by the way. The 0-1 fouled back in a mighty cut from Hanley. Jackie Bradley on deck. Hanley Ramirez with a 3-run home run last night. Another one here today. And had the 3-homer game earlier this week on Wednesday. His power stroke is locked in. Here comes the 0-2 from Malone. He lets it go for a ball. Tried a curveball.
Yeah, think about that slide by Bogaerts at second base, and you know, it used to be you didn't dive head first very much into a bag, but the ability to do that, it's dangerous because of your fingers, but the fact that you can maneuver when you do that, you see where the tag is.
Yeah, one of the best in the game is Dustin Pedroia at that.
Yeah, he is.
Pulling that hand back and going in with the opposite. And that'll miss outside. And, you know, he's gotten a lot of calls over the years because of his ability to do that. Xander Bogaerts just did. It's a real skill. Red Sox ahead 4-3. Looking for more. Two balls, two strikes. Up the middle, not hit hard. Nunez gathers that, and no play. He's going to throw into third and skip it, but Bogaerts gets back. And Hanley Ramirez is on with a base hit. And they're on at first and third.
Very smart play by Nunez, because, you know, if he throws to first base, there's a chance Bogaerts could score. But he first of all saves a run by going to his left, and then he looks toward third base. Bogaerts almost got trapped going around third base too far. Because, you know, you're running hard, you're being weighed by that third base coach, and until he tells you to stop, that's when you stop. And it was hard to tell that time whether Nunez was going to get to the ball or was going to get through.
Tommy Malone's pitching line as Neil Allen visits the bump is brought to you by your Eastern Lexus dealers. Typically he's had a very rough time against the Red Sox. He's now coughed up 9 hits and 4 earned runs in 4 and a third, and he's in trouble again with 1 down and 2 on in front of Jackie Bradley. Jackie has a hit today. He's gone 1 for 2. Bradley up to 301 with 15 homers. Last night, Jackie Bradley drove in 2 when he went 3 for 4. He became the 4th Red Sox hitter to reach 60 RBIs, and he's been joined today by Hanley Ramirez, who's gotten to 60 with his 3-run homer. Red Sox have more guys with 60 RBIs than any team in the big leagues. Jackie trying to make it 61. 0-1.
Had a pretty good pitch to do it on, too. He got a curveball that really didn't have a lot of snap to it, but it did get just enough away from Jackie so he couldn't make contact. But that was a bit of a hanger.
A fly ball of decent depth, and the Red Sox will add another run. In there for a strike. 0-2.
Curveball away, fastball back inside, so he's used both sides of the plate in the first 2 pitches.
Hanley Ramirez at first and Xander Bogaerts at third. Here's the 0-2. Tried inside again, but came up empty. Bradley's driven in 5 runs on the homestand. And the left-hander's 1-2. Waved at and missed on a pitch down into the dirt. He struck him out. So there are 2 gone. Sox fans looking for the best seats to the biggest games. Check out the official Red Sox ticket resale marketplace at RedSoxReplay.com. It's the best place for season ticket holders to sell their tickets when they can't make it to the game.
You might have noticed Jackie going right down the runway. That's generally where players go after they make an out with a man in scoring position. Right down the runway and do a little yelling and screaming at themselves.
A little venting.
Yep.
There are ballparks, as Trevor May gets going in their bullpen, there are ballparks around the big leagues where they provide a punching bag in the tunnel exactly for that purpose.
It's better than having a guy punch a wall, right?
Right. Here's Aaron Hill. Tied him up. He has flied to center and grounded out to third. Red Sox ahead 4-3. They've out-hit Minnesota 9-3. So from that angle, you figure the Red Sox ought to have a couple of more runs up there. The 0-1 coming. High fly, but foul. He hit it wickedly up into that Coca-Cola section. But a noisy strike. Last night, ultimately, again, one of the most frustrating losses of the year. The Red Sox loaded the bases and left them loaded 3 times in that defeat. 11-9. 0-2. Hard ground ball right through Sano. That'll go down the line and bring in a run. Bogaerts touching home plate. So Malone was a ground ball from getting out of the inning, but that ate alive his third baseman.
Yeah, that's so frustrating for a pitcher. You got to work so hard, and then you get a routine ground. Well, I'm not going to say routine. Nothing's routine, but that ball took a bad hop. You know, the positioning of the glove was not bad. It was low. It was down on the ground, but the ball just came up and bounced right over the glove.
It's an E5. Inning still cooking for the Red Sox, leading at 5-3. No RBI there for Hill. So first and second, 2 down for Travis Shaw, trying to keep it rolling. He has flied out 2 times, once to center, once to left. So the Red Sox getting some help. And that'll be ball 1.
We mentioned when we were giving the defense today that the Minnesota Twins, and so unlike Minnesota teams, last in the league in defense, and that would cost them right there.
And for years, it was the Twins' way of doing it, right? And
exactly.
It was defensive excellence, starting with playing good fundamental defense. He was out in front. Count 1-1 on Travis.
Looks like he took a little bit off the curveball that time. Only 75 miles an hour.
And Ramirez at second base, and Aaron Hill after the error on at first. Red Sox have scored twice in this inning. Here comes the 1-1. 2 balls, 1 strike. With a victory, the Red Sox would improve to 55 and 41. The lefty's 2-1. Got a piece of that. And the Red Sox win today and Baltimore loses. The Sox would be back to half a game out in the AL East. Yankees are leading the Giants in the 6th inning 2-0. A lot of trade rumors swirling around Aroldis Chapman. There are indications, at least some reports, that the Yankees are ready to deal him to somebody. That may start a string of trades for the Yankees.
And the Yankees 7.5 games back coming into today's action.
2 on, 2 out. Here comes the 2-2 to Shaw. High fly, ball deep to right field. That may go. Kepler back it up, and she is gone. Eight to 3 Boston. The Red Sox with their 3rd home run in the last 3 innings.
Travis Shaw should thank Malone for that pitch. He left a breaking ball right in his sweet spot. Down and in. That ball's supposed to be away. It stays inside, and that's exactly where Travis Shaw likes the ball. See the catch is setting up away, a mislocation, and a long one.
His 12th home run of the season. It is the last pitch Malone will throw as the Red Sox get to him again. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Kia. The Red Sox open up an 8-3 lead over Minnesota. Back with more in just a moment. West Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By buyatoyota.com, Toyota's website for deals. And by Sullivan Tire and Complete Auto Service. The Red Sox have opened up an 8-3 lead on the home run by Travis Shaw. They're going to go to the bullpen now, Trevor May. But now back to what everybody else wants to know. Did Robbie Ross Jr. come up with that shot into the bullpen? He made an effort, but it struck that pipe, Jerry.
Yeah.
And he almost got hit by the ricochet.
Yeah, very dangerous right there. You got to be very careful.
Robbie said, I'm okay. I'm all right. Did not make the play on that one. So he's still at 5.5 catches. But he was closing on it.
I mean, you know, knowing Ross, he would have went crashing into the wall to try to make that catch.
No, he doesn't care. Bryce Brents fouls that one off the catcher. 5 runs here in the 5th inning. Red Sox had a 5-run inning last night but could not hold the lead. Minnesota had one in the 7th inning. Centeno shaken up. It's been a tough series for the Twins catchers. They've had that happen several times already. So May coming out of the pen. The tall, lanky right-hander. ERA over 6. Brents has gone 1 for 2 with a base hit. And he'll take one in there for a called strike. Ryan Hannigan on deck. Robbie Ross Jr. has already won his bet with Tommy Lane, who said he would not exceed 4 catches all year. That was the bet. He's already blown that out of the water.
You can bet next spring training that that number will go up. It has to. I mean, he beat that right around the All-Star break.
Yeah. We need to know what was on the line with the bet, though, as that one is fouled back. That's something that Robbie has yet to confide. Or Tommy. Red Sox with 10 hits to the Twins 3. And 3 of the Red Sox hits have gone out of the ballpark. And May with a 1-2. Ground ball to first base, and Mauer collects that. And that is out number 3. But the Red Sox hit 2 home runs in the 5th inning. One by Dustin Pedroia. And the other, Travis Shaw, a 3-run shot. Shop at Jordan's Furniture now and get a discount equal to twice the state sales tax on everything in the store. Visit jordansfurniture.com for details. Top of the 6th inning and some breathing room for Porcello. Red Sox in front 8-3 now. As he gets Sano, just made a big error. That allowed the inning to get to Travis Shaw to hit that 3-run homer. So 4 of the runs, 4 of the 8 runs the Red Sox have are unearned. Sano with a fly out and strikeout. Then it's Dozier and Kepler, the heart of their order. And all getting their 3rd look at Rick Porcello. He's trying to go to 10-0 at Fenway. High bounder to Bogarts. And 1 man away. Let's get out to Garrett Austin.
Thanks, Obi. Well, earlier today, Rodney Butler, chairman of the Mashantucket Pequot Tribal Nation, threw out the ceremonial first pitch in honor of Connecticut Day. Chairman Butler said he was very excited to be here today. He's a huge Red Sox fan. And guys, we were talking about how much fun we all have at Red Sox Winter Weekend at Foxwoods Resort and Casino, and he reminded me that there is a ton of stuff going on there this summer, from pool parties and some really, really great events they've got coming up.
I liked how he got right on top of the mound, Garen, to deliver that pitch.
Impressive.
And brought it in there. That's in there for a called strike. It's always a debate. You know, do you go all the way to the hill, Jerry, and you've got a pitch coming up with the Paw Sox?
No, not me. I'm going at the cut of the grass. I don't want to embarrass myself. And plus, I don't want to mess the mound up for the pitcher.
The 0-1 pitch. Now, which one comes first? You don't want to embarrass yourself, or you don't want to mess up the mound?
No, actually, to be honest with you, having respect for the pitcher, you know, that the field has just been taken care of. It's all groomed and ready to go.
That's number one.
I don't want to be stepping on, you know, any area that he's going to be on, first of all. Second of all, yeah, my arm is not real good. So I don't want to take that chance. Now, I can still bounce one from at the grass. There's no question about that.
Still bounce it from the grass.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I got to practice before I go to Pawtucket. I really do. And I will. I'll be down at Martha's Vineyard, and I'll take some practice throws down there.
Yeah. And probably you'll warm up a little bit when you get on the field.
Yeah.
Just to make sure. The 1-2 coming. Cut on and missed, and Rick Porcello puts away the first two men here in the sixth inning.
A cut fastball by Porcello to pick up the strikeout. A couple of very quick outs here in the sixth inning. There's the cutter right to the outside part of the plate, maybe a little higher than he would like, but still no contact by Dozier.
Well, he has set down 8 in a row. Trying to make it 9 here on Kepler, who's reached twice, once on an error by Xander Bogaerts and scored, and then on a triple and he scored. Red Sox ahead 8-3. Strike one. Kepler, born in Germany. Both of his parents ballet dancers. He was a soccer and tennis protege. As he rolls it to Dustin Pedroia. Very fast inning for Rick Porcello. He gets him 1-2-3. Red Sox up 5 here in the middle of the sixth. Give back to the communities in which they live and work. Thousands of kids have had a chance to catch a free Sox game thanks to Dunkin' Donuts. Today we welcome Framingham Little League to historic Fenway Park. Dunkin' Donuts committed to the community. Of course, the sign has been changed for the rest of the season. David Ortiz, as that one's pop foul out of play by Ryan Hannigan. Poppy with the day off today. But swinging a really fine medal there. Boston Marathon Participants Medal. in the dugout.
Well, that's nice to have, isn't it? Everybody that runs the marathon get one of those?
That's what I understand. You and I can admire those from a distance. As Nunez grabs it and fires on to get Hannigan. One man away. Very sharp. Of course, David will always be connected in our minds to the marathon and his famous speech here at Fenway Park.
David takes a day off, he takes it off, right? And he's knowing right now, you know, he's sitting there thinking, like, you know, it's 8-3, probably not going to get into this game today. But I can tell you, if it tightens up at all, he'll be ready to swing the bat. You know, I got to give him a lot of credit. You know, there's been an awful lot of attention on him, obviously, here in his final season with the Red Sox, and the demands that have been put on him are just incredible. And he has been so gracious to so many people throughout this. It says an awful lot about David Ortiz, because, you know, everybody wants to do something with him. Everybody wants a piece of David Ortiz this season.
Yep.
And we see it not only here in Boston, but we see it when we go on the road. And graciously, he's trying to accommodate just about everybody that he can.
There's a lot we see. There's a lot we don't see.
Yes.
There's even more. The 1-1 to Brock Holt will miss. He has gone 0 for 3. The season he's having is just incredible. 332, 24 homers, 81 runs batted in. You know, he's only struck out 45 times in over 320 at bats. In for a called strike. So his batting eye is better now than it's ever been.
Yeah, you know, I was looking at that number just a couple of days ago, and I meant to bring it up on the air, but that's remarkable. I mean, for a guy that's you know, a power hitter to only have struck out 45 times.
1 out, bases empty, and down low to make it 3-2 on Brock Holt. Dustin Pedroia next. He's homered and singled.
Just the other day, he was coming in the ballpark, and he had this whole camera crew that was in the truck with him coming in. I don't know what it's for, probably some kind of documentary, but you know, it's that stuff like all the time. And you know, they followed him probably from his home into the ballpark, out of the car, into the clubhouse, and then they left. But I don't have any idea what it's for, but certainly up close and personal with David Ortiz.
I think there are multiple documentaries or shows being done on him at the same time. 3-2 is high and tight for a ball, so Brock Holt is on with 1 man out. Tuesday, Build a Poppy night at Fenway Park. First 15,000 fans receive a Build a Poppy kit courtesy of Coca-Cola. That'll turn fans into their favorite designated hitter. For tickets and more info, visit redsox.com/promos.
I hope as time goes on and we get closer to the end of the season and hopefully into the playoffs, that I get an opportunity to sit down with him. I've been fortunate enough to watch his whole career here with the Red Sox, and I would love the opportunity to interview him one final time.
I would too. And a little insight, you and I shared a ride with David to the ballpark in Texas, and you guys had a fascinating conversation about the direction of the Red Sox, how David wants to see it go, not only this season but next season when he's gone, as this one is chopped along third but foul. I'd love to hear some of that on camera.
Yeah, that would be interesting. And he doesn't hold back. I mean, when you get him going, you know,
he does not.
He doesn't hold back. He lets you know exactly how he feels about things.
And very, very interesting. Pedroia with a single and a home run. He's got 2 for 3, hitting .306. Had an excellent homestand. He has reached base in 27 consecutive games. On base percentage well over 400 during that span. He came into this game a .360 lifetime hitter against Minnesota. Look what he's done in this series. Trying to keep up with the man on deck, Xander Bogaerts, in this series. Here's the 0-2, not to be made. By the way, it is the last time that David Ortiz will play against, if he does play, against his former team, the Minnesota Twins. This is it. Red Sox ahead 8-3 in the 6th. And the 0-2 with a runner going. Inside, the throw down to second and will not get him. Brock Holt with a theft. Hanging on to the bag.
You know, a lot of times guys won't go with a no ball 2-strike count because that becomes, you know, it could be a pitch out, but it's such a slow delivery to home plate by May that, you know, Holt knows he can get a good jump. And he almost slides right by the bag, right over the top of it, and he has to hook the bag with his hand to hold on. That's a hard slide into second base by Brock Holt, a pop-up slide they call it. And he popped right over the bag.
A rare feet first slide. Although he wound up with his hands on it, and they may want to take a look at this. Let's see what they're asking for now. Indeed, they're going to challenge this. Minnesota will challenge the safe call at second base. So this play will be under review. With the Red Sox leading by 5 runs here in the 6th inning. Holt was ruled safe, so originally his 4th stolen base, but now they take a look.
Let's take another look and see if when he does pop up, if the tag remains on him. He's got the foot. I think the tag comes off. You know, he got the foot in first, then there was the tag, then he comes off the bag.
I think the question is, did he get him before he got to the bag?
I don't think so.
See on the elbow?
I see where the tag is, but I thought the foot was on the bag.
So we'll see what they say in New York. Red Sox have already won 1 challenge, and now Minnesota challenging.
Yeah, they see the foot's on the bag, I think, before the tag, and then he comes off the bag, but Dozier's nowhere near him.
Is it conclusive enough to overturn it?
Yeah, we get some great angles from our camera people here at Fenway Park, the best in the business, on top of all the plays.
And literally on top of the wall. That's my favorite new angle. Mike Naracci, our director, got that angle up there, and when you see a home run that just clears that red line or doesn't, and you can determine whether there's fan interference, that's a great shot. Red Sox with an 8-3 advantage here over the Minnesota Twins. The best the Red Sox could do is split this series. Baltimore, incidentally, battling Cleveland, and TC will have an update in just a bit on that game. Let's see if we can give you some more looks on this. Play under review. Question is, did he get him on the elbow before that foot touched the bag? I think
this is the best look right here. And to me, I think the foot's on the bag right there before the tag gets on Brock Holt. He comes off the bag, but so does Dozier. Dozier comes off the tag.
Well, they have an answer in New York, and he is out.
I don't agree. I don't agree with New York at all.
It's a caught stealing. So Brock Holt out at second base, and there are 2 away. And Dustin Pedroia now to finish the at bat here. 8 runs, 10 hits for Boston, 3 runs on 3 hits for Minnesota. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes on Pedroia. Trevor May, the reliever, and pounds it in there for strike 3. Got him looking. Time for a game break. Actually, we'll go to commercial break and then a game break. At the end of 6, it is 8-3 Red Sox. To the 7th inning, 8-3. Red Sox have the lead on Minnesota. And Porcello, a man in command. You got him 1-2-3 in the 5th, 1-2-3 in the 6th. And the Red Sox have once again been scoring for him at Fenway Park, where he's trying to go to 10-0 this season. Pop foul out of play by Vargas, who has walked, and he's also grounded to second to drive in a run. Red Sox about to invite in the Detroit Tigers for a 3-game series. It'll be our first look at the Tigers. And the 1-1 will hit the corner.
Now there's one that Porcello was not getting early in the ball game, but gets that breaking ball that stays a little bit outside.
Detroit right now is 5 games over 500 in the AL Central. Inside a ball. 2-2. Vargas with the bases empty has been outstanding. He's hitting .393 with 2 home runs with the bases clean, as they are here. The 2-2 got jammed. That one ran in on the handle.
That's a good cut fastball right there by Porcello. I mean, as a hitter, you know, you're reading fastball, all of a sudden you get that last little cut and it gets right on your hands. It's exactly where Porcello wanted to throw it.
He winds into 2-2. He's run it full. Nothing unusual for Rick Porcello. He only has 1 walk so far today, and that was Vargas in the 2nd inning. Number 2 in walks per 9 innings in the American League. The 3-2. There's a shot out toward the triangle. Long run for Jackie Bradley, and will not get it. Up against the stop and shop sign, and that'll be 2 bases for Vargas. He is certainly capable of hitting it a long way, and that's a leadoff 2-base hit. Time for a game break, brought to you by Jordan's, the furniture store of the Boston Red Sox. Here's TC. Tom, thank you very much. Back at Fenway, Twins and the Red Sox, and Boston in front 8-3. No activity in the bullpen yet for the Red Sox, as Rosario will be the batter. He's gone 0 for 2 with a run scored. And that was just the 4th hit of the day from Minnesota. They had 19 last night. TC was talking about Jonathan Scope. He's a middle infielder who's hit 17 home runs. He's really underrated.
Yeah, second baseman.
Really good power, but nobody ever talks about him in that lineup. You know, with Trumbo and Davis and Machado and all those guys.
Well, the Orioles lead the American League in home runs.
Vargas away from second with nobody out in the 7th. The 1-0. That's up and away. Rick Porcello's pitching line is brought to you by Ace Ticket. 7 Ks in the book for Rick. His day started with a strikeout of the leadoff man Nunez. And a 2-0 to Rosario. That's a strike.
Took a little bit something off the fastball to get the strike that time on the outside part of the plate.
Rosario's had a good series. He's 5 for 9. Sit safely in 3 in a row. Here's the 2-1. Hill with the stab. The runner will hold at second, and he makes the play over to first base for the out. So 1 away. Tomorrow, don't miss Red Sox first pitch, presented by Joseph Abboud, available at Men's Warehouse. Tom Caron and Steve Lyons will have an in-depth preview of the series against the Tigers. Well, all the naval personnel, and there are a lot of them in the ballpark today, are training at the Naval Station Newport.
Now, very early today, actually this morning, they were all on the field, and they were all taking pictures in front of the Green Monster, just walking around the field. Quite a thrill, I'm sure, for them.
And great to see him on a beautiful day here at Fenway. Little R&R. Vargas at second with one down now for Centeno, who does have a double. Gone 1 for 2. Pitch count still in very good shape for Porcello here with one down the 7th inning. He's at 92. Centeno with a couple of home runs, so not a whole lot of power. And now Porcello wants to call out Hannigan.
One of the impressive things I think about Porcello right now is, the fact that he has confidence in every one of his pitches. His fastball, his cutter, his two-seamer, the curveball, the changeup. I mean, he's just mixing everything up so well. And he's throwing it, obviously, for strikes.
A totally different guy than he was for a big chunk of last season. And he went to the minors and came back and pitched very effectively down the stretch. So that was a good sign, and he's kept that going. He's 12-2. ERA at the moment at 3.44. Last season 9-15 with a 4.92 earned run average. He really settled in. The 1-1. Fly ball, well hit. On the run, Brock Holt, though, battling the sun, and he drops it. Vargas had to hold up. He's heading into third. Into second base, Centeno. That sun gave him all sorts of difficulty.
Yeah, it's that time of day. It's 3:45 in the afternoon. The sun is very tough out in right field. You could see Holt that time struggle with it, and it seemed like right at the end, it looked like he was under control on contact, as you'll see. But then right at the end, when he takes his eye off it, he can't pick it back up, and eventually drops the baseball. Even with the sunglasses on, he's still losing it in the sun.
The official scorer can take the sun into consideration, and they have ruled that a double, even though it was in the glove and then out. It's the second double of the inning for Minnesota, and we'll bring up Byron Buxton, who has struck out and grounded back to the pitcher. Second and third, and a line drive and a base hit. Vargas is in to score. Centeno right behind him. That's going to bring in 2 runs. Buxton crunching the 2-run single to make it 8-5. And here come the Twins again.
Now Buxton, a guy who doesn't walk very much and strikes out a lot, not very patient. He jumps on the first pitch, and he should have. That was a cut fastball that just really stayed in the middle of the plate, so a good pitch for him to hit, and right over the glove of Aaron Hill at third base. 2 runs come across. You got a game again.
Well, it seems like in this series, every mistake the Red Sox make, the Twins capitalize on immediately. Happened last night too.
The Twins aren't playing like a last place team against the Red Sox.
So even though that was ruled a double, it was a drop by Brock Holt, and then Buxton smashing the 2-run single. On an all-new Ultimate Red Sox show presented by AAA, Giants executive Brian Sabean joins us to talk about how to build a winner and his New England roots. Red Sox skipper John Farrell talks about the addition of some new arms, and we have the plays of the week. Tune in tonight at 6 p.m. 3 hits in the inning. An 8-5 game sends up Nunez, who's gone 0 for 3. Not an easy man to double up. They may be sending Buxton here.
Now Buxton with 7 steals on the season. He has not been caught.
Now the Red Sox do have activity in the bullpen now for the first time today. Across for a strike. It is Matt Barnes, who's had an exceptional homestand. Joe Kelly is out in that bullpen as he has been retrieved from the Paw Sox. Heath Hembry sent out. That one drilled but foul as he turned on it too quickly on a fastball in.
Yeah, that's about the only place you can hit that. It's one of those two-seam fastballs that runs back in on the hands, and if you get the barrel of the bat out, very tough ball to keep in fair territory.
Certainly looking like this will be the last inning for Rick Porcello. Does have an 8-5 lead, but only one out. Nunez has a little power for a leadoff man. He's hit 12 home runs. And hitting right at 300. Here comes the 0-2. Lash foul.
Good job there by Nunez to foul that pitch off. That was a strike on the outside part of the plate, but a very difficult pitch to hit. And as a hitter, you just hope to be able to foul it off. You see the late swing just making contact, and he gets a chance to see another pitch. If he takes that ball, it's strike three.
Just 3 for 13 lifetime against Porcello. He deals the 0-2 pitch. Not yet. Throw to first and a dive back by Buxton, who entered this season as the Twins' top prospect. Baseball America ruled he had the best outfield arm as well. He can run. He got him to chase up and out of the strike zone with that four-seam fastball, and he whiffs him.
Now that's by design, and they've done that to Nunez quite a bit. You know, they get ahead of him and they want to go to that high fastball, and that's exactly what they do. John Farrell making his way out of the dugout now with Matt Barnes loose in the bullpen. You can see Porcello shaking his head. He didn't want to come out. This may be just a check by Farrell. See if he's okay, but no, they are going to take him out.
So Rick Porcello to step aside, in line to go to 10-0 at Fenway. And gets a very nice hand, also in line for his 13th win of the season. He's not happy about coming out, but he does have an 8-5 lead. And we'll take a break and be back with more in just a moment. Brought to you by Santander Bank. You're all right with simply right checking from Santander Bank.
Now Rick Porcello, 8 strikeouts on the day. Let's take a look at the last 4 and a couple of comebackers. The two-seam fastball inside comes back to the plate for the first strikeout. We're going to look at another two-seamer, a comebacker. And then he goes to the cut fastball and then the high fastball. Up and out of the strike zone by design.
So 6 2/3 for Rick, and 6 hits, 5 runs, 4 of those earned. He struck out 8, walked 1, 99 pitches. And gives way to Matt Barnes. Will face Joe Mauer here. Went 1 for 3 against Porcello. 2.87 ERA for Barnes, who had his best outing certainly all season long against San Francisco in that 11-7 win on Wednesday, getting out of a bases loaded none out jam without allowing a run in that frame. You feel like something's changed with the perception for the rest of the season as far as Matt Barnes is concerned, because John Farrell will not hesitate to bring him into a very tough spot.
Yeah, it's all about confidence, you know what, for both guys. For the pitcher, once he shows confidence, oh, then the manager has confidence in him, and he's got the stuff to go with it. Live fastball, he can get it up to 98 miles an hour, that curveball, and an occasional changeup.
His last 12 appearances, a 1.56 earned run average for Barnes. Did not allow a run in 3 innings on Wednesday. Season high for Matt. Out of the University of Connecticut. 2 down. And he deals the fastball too high on Mauer.
I wouldn't be at all surprised to see Buxton go against Barnes, because Barnes does take a long time to get rid of the baseball. And of course Buxton has that great speed, so it wouldn't come as a surprise even 3 runs down.
Hannigan behind the plate. Here's the 1-0. A strike. Mauer's been a great hitter throughout his career. 3 batting titles. He's won an MVP. Number 2 in franchise history all time in doubles and in batting average, a .310 hitter. Although he's really tailed off the last 3 years, despite earning $23 million a year. The 1-1. That's a strike. Boy, it's a tough pitch.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a gift right there. You see Mauer looking back at the home plate umpire Emmel. It's pretty much unhittable.
And probably not a strike. 1-2. Buxton a short lead at first base. Red Sox ahead 8-5 in the 7th. Minnesota scored twice in this inning. Minnesota with just 6 hits today, and 3 of them have come in this inning. One of them a drop by Brock Holt that was ruled a double as he was blinded by the sun. Here comes a 1-2. Runner goes. Swing and a liner on. Couple of hops there to Bogaerts, who gathers that and gets him. That retires the side. So the Red Sox coming about at the bottom of the 7th with an 8-5 lead. These Sunday Smiles are brought to you by Hair Cuttery, home of the Smile Back Guarantee. No small print, just big smiles.
And now, before Josh Cantor leads us in the singing of Take Me Out to the Ball Game on the Fenway organ, we ask you to please rise. Here to perform God Bless America is a talented young singer from Groton, Connecticut. Please welcome 10-year-old Ayanna Lee.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountain to the prairies, to the oceans, why with foam. God bless America, my home.
Southwest Airlines, transparency, low fares, and nothing to hide.
There you see in the truck, that is the B unit, as they call it. Joe Francazio has 9 years without missing a game, and closest to us, that's Teddy. Teddy LeBlanc used to be up here in the booth with us, and they moved him down in the air conditioning. So
smart move.
Yeah.
A-listers, though.
It looks like video games they're playing down there.
That's pretty much it. All those monitors. Xander Bogaerts to lead off the bottom of the 7th. Red Sox ahead 8-5. Trevor May, their right-hander, stays on and deals a strike. Bogaerts perfect again against Minnesota. They're tired of hearing that, but he's 3 for 3 against them. He's lifted his average to .334. 6-game hitting streak, and he's absolutely on fire. And bloops a foul to make it 0-2. Andy Ramirez on deck. He's hit another home run today, and then Jackie Bradley. Big inning for the Sox was the 5th inning when they scored 5 times. And in that inning, Pedroia and Shaw homered. And now Xander has a busted bat. He needs a new one. Red Sox trying to get a split here with Minnesota before inviting in the Detroit Tigers, who are playing in Chicago. So the Tigers and the White Sox never got a chance to see Chris Sale in that throwback uniform.
And who was happy about that? The Tigers.
Yeah. Maybe everybody. Those uniforms are pretty gruesome. Here's the 0-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Xander Bogaerts. Well, last night, Xander had 4 hits. He was 4 for 6. He's trying to make it back-to-back 4-hit games. 2-2. Bogaerts came into this game number 5 in the American League in on-base percentage, .385, and he's added to that with 3 hits and 2 runs and a stolen base. 2-2. High pop-up. Backing out Dozier. He puts it away on the back pedal.
Now Red Sox with 3 home runs in the ball game today. Hanley gets a changeup on 3 different pitches. A changeup that was down in the zone, and then they wanted to go away to Pedroia. Instead, it's a fastball in, and he knew it right away to Malone. And then again, a mislocation. They wanted to go away with the curveball. It stays inside, and Travis Shaw lifts it out of the ballpark for the home run.
Our game summary brought to you by Xfinity. So for Shaw, number 12, for Hanley Ramirez, number 13. Dustin Pedroia has also cranked his 10th. Rick Porcello can win it yet again at Fenway, in there for a strike on Hanley. A home run, a 3-run shot, also a base hit. He scored twice, hitting .283. And now suddenly the RBIs are climbing for Hanley. He's at 60, along with 4 Red Sox teammates. That just misses, according to Paul Emmel.
That looked like a good pitch right there, too. Certainly not you want to swing at unless you have 2 strikes on you, but could have been called a strike.
Mays 1-1.
Yeah, there are times, Dave, as a hitter where you stand at the plate and you see a pitch and you think it's going to be called a strike, and it's not. You're like stunned. You know, you go, oh, wow. And I think that might have been the case there with Hanley.
Mays 2-1 offering, and he would not chase again. Now 3-1, good count for Hanley.
See if he narrows that zone down to something he can pull out of the ballpark.
Well, he's done it a lot on this homestand. 5 home runs on this homestand.
Got to try to stay away from him.
3-1 and a strike, and a generous call there. So yeah, the plate's moved around a bit.
Yeah, it is. This has not been Emmel's best day behind the plate. This ball clearly outside, but called a strike against Ramirez. Makes it even for the one that he missed earlier in the at-bat.
It's funny, it's been a 4-game series, game number 4, and 2 of the umpires were exceptional, and 2 of them he would not call exceptional behind the plate. And he flicks that one foul.
You see what it does. It makes you swing at a pitch like that. Now that ball's not a strike, but after he calls one out there as a hitter, well, you better be swinging if he throws it out there again.
Bob Davidson did a nice job with Stephen Wright the other night.
Yeah, great job.
Asania had a very good night behind the plate, but the last couple of guys, Fagan and Emmel, have been challenged. Swing and a miss, and down he goes on a high slider. So 2 away. Tomorrow at 6:30, don't miss Red Sox Game Day Live, presented by DCU. TC and Steve Lyons will preview Drew Pomeranz's start and the latest from around the league with a week to go before the trade deadline. DCU Digital Federal Credit Union. What can DCU save you? Jackie Bradley next. He'll step in 1 for 3 on the day with a base hit. He's also grounded to second and struck out. Nobody on. Red Sox leading 8-5 in the 7th. What do you think? You think the incident everyone's talking about with Chris Sale, do you think it'll affect his trade value if they're going to try and move him?
Depends what the teams are going to offer. I think they listen to anything, right?
Chicago, yeah, they've said that. Their general manager said open to anything.
Absolutely. So, I mean, it depends on the package you can put together for him. And it's going to be expensive. It's going to be high. The top guys in the league.
Yeah, I've heard 5 prospects. One story said that's what they're demanding, 5 top prospects from somebody. Others say they need a couple of big league pieces in return, along with a lot of prospects. They're asking for a lot. He's a great pitcher, but he has a very team-friendly contract.
But not very friendly with his team right now.
At least not the uniforms. The 3-0. Jackie looking at a strike, taking all the way. Jackie with 3 doubles, a homer, 5 RBIs on this homestand. He's hitting right at 300. Bounding ball to first, down for Mauer, and the Red Sox will be done in 1-2-3 after 7, 8-5 Boston. Airlines, transparency, low fares, and nothing to hide. Been a beautiful day. The Red Sox on top 8-5 going to the 8th inning. Matt Barnes staying on for his 2nd inning. came on to relieve Rick Porcello, went 6 2/3, allowing 6 hits and 4 earned runs. Here's Sano. He bends away from the breaking ball. He's flied out, struck out, and grounded out to third in this one. Big time power from this guy. 15 home runs so far. Certainly an interesting start to his professional career. We talked about this the other day. They made a documentary of his signing as a teenager in the Dominican Republic, because there was a lot of controversy about just how old he was. And there occasionally is for players out of the Dominican. They actually asked for a bone graft to pin down his age as he looks at a pitch inside, and it determined he was, as he said, about 16 and a half. So they verified it that way, but he had to go through a lot to come and play in the United States. 2 balls, 1 strike on him. Dozier on deck. Fastball lined up the middle for a base hit. He can hit a fastball. We check out what events are coming up at Foxwoods Resort Casino. Robert Davi coming up on July 30th, and Practical Jokers, followed by My 2K, the tour featuring 98 degrees. Dozier's gone 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts and a pop-up in this one.
Now you mentioned Sano, a good fastball hitter, and you know Barnes had started him out with 3 curveballs, fell behind 2-1, had to go to the fastball, and then he takes it up the middle for the base hit.
So Sano is on. Dozier with 17 homers. Looks at a strike. Cleveland and Baltimore have gone to the 9th inning, tied 3-3 at Camden Yards. Barnes with the 0-1. The Red Sox knocked out the Minnesota starter Tommy Malone after just 4 2/3. They got to him for 8 runs, 10 hits. They have had his number, regardless of the uniform he has worn. Here comes the 1-1. And a fastball outside. And a little high. Tazawa getting loose in the pen. Max Kepler is on deck. And the 2-1. That's a base hit punched into left field. Back-to-back singles off of Matt Barnes. 2 on in the 8th.
Now right now they're taking advantage of that fastball from Barnes, as both Sano and Dozier hitting fastballs hard. This time back by the throwing side of Bogarts.
Hey, don't miss WB Mason Extra Innings Live right after the game. TC and Steve Lyons will break it all down, whatever, whenever, wherever. Who but WB Mason? And Carl Willis with a mound visit. Now there is reason to hope, as bad as Minnesota has been this season. Last year they actually played over 500 by 4 games. That was a big surprise. This year they started out horribly, and they are 37-60. They're not going anywhere. But there's reason to hope with the young talent in this lineup. Guys like Dozier and Kepler and Buxton and Sano, that within a year or 2 they might be a competitive team in their division.
And, you know, I think back, you know, to spring training, how we talked about how important it is to get off to a good start, you know, from Red Sox point of view. It's the same for everybody, because you mentioned the Twins got off to a horrible start this season, and it kind of sets the tone for everything. I mean, you don't, you know, you like to come out of the gate strong, and it gives you confidence as a team.
They were 0-9.
Yeah, that's tough.
Kepler with a high fastball that missed badly.
I mean, you're sitting there in spring training, you're all excited about the season starting. Before you know it, you know, you're 0-9, and it's like Man, everything's already ruined.
Kepler has scored twice. This is the guy who hit the walk-off home run against Matt Barnes in Minnesota to beat the Red Sox in the 10th inning. It was a 3-run homer. He has 2 men on right now, nobody out. And that's inside. Ball 2.
This may be the last hitter for Barnes because Tazawa should be close to being ready out in that bullpen.
Well, this one turning into a grinder. Red Sox 8, Minnesota 5, 8th inning. But nothing easy in this series in these last 3 games. The 2-0 to Kepler. He takes another ball. So to count 3-0, one more like that, they're going to be all loaded up for Vargas, who is certainly a home run threat. Barnes scuffling in the 8th. Kepler has hit 10 home runs. So he's been on a home run tear since getting one against Barnes. He'll take a strike. He is likely to see another one of those. 3-1. Sano at second, Dozier at first. And the 3-1 to the number 5 hitter. He takes one inside, and that'll miss for ball 4, and that's going to load up the bases with nobody out. And John Farrell out of the dugout. He'll bring on Junichi Tazawa right here to face Vargas, and no place to put him. And we'll be back in a moment. Wednesday, then the Red Sox head out west for one of those long trips we've been talking about for quite some time, going to play the Angels in Anaheim, then to Seattle for 4, then back to Los Angeles to face the Dodgers. So the Sox won't be back home until the 9th of August. Well, it's a hornet's nest that Tazawa inherits here. Man at every base and nobody out. The Red Sox are up 8-5, and Jerry, it suddenly feels a lot tighter than that.
Yeah, it's been a very strange game. It looked like the Red Sox were well in control of this ball game this afternoon, and all of a sudden you one swing away from giving up the lead. So Tazawa, as you mentioned, really has his work cut out for him here with the bases loaded and nobody out in the inning.
He's 1-1, a .351 earned run average in 36 appearances. Just recently off the disabled list this week. Ace Ticket is Boston's trusted source for Red Sox tickets with the best seats at the lowest prices. Ace Ticket has Boston's biggest selection of Red Sox tickets from bleachers to boxes. Visit aceticket.com or call 1-800-MY-SEATS. So they're all loaded up. Sano at third, Dozier at second, and Kepler at first base. And big Kenny's Vargas, the batter. He has gone 1 for 2 with a double. Hitting .326. And he will take ball 1.
Starts him off with a split-fingered fastball, trying to get a ground ball double play and minimize the damage.
Vargas, a great big guy. He's their DH today, so he will not be fast up that line. Tazawa with the 1-0. And a breaking ball snapped in there. Sharp curveball. Matt Barnes leaving behind a bases loaded situation with 2 singles and a walk. Not sharp in this inning. And Tazawa with a 1-1. Grounded foul. So Junichi ahead in the count.
That was a split-fingered fastball again. He did get a ground ball, but obviously in foul territory. Would love to see something right at his shortstop, a second baseman, get a 4.63, a 6.43, and get 2 outs, give up a run. It's okay. It's like Hannigan had a change of mind on the pitch selection that he had. He's the one that called timeout. Wants to go through another set of signs. Fastball up, it looks like.
Bases loaded, nobody out. Here's the 1-2 pitch. 2-2. Indians and the Orioles, bottom of the 9th inning, locked up 3-3. Red Sox trying to get back within a half game of the front running Orioles. Rosario on deck. Crowd wants a K. The 2-2 coming. Fly ball into left field. Brent's at the wall, will make the play, makes contact with it. Here comes the run. Sano will score, and that'll make it 8-6. A sac fly and an RBI for Vargas. Red Sox very fortunate that did not go into the monster.
Yeah, it looked to me like when it left the bat, it was going to be off the left field wall, but Brent's going back just in front of the wall to make the catch. So they do pick up a run, but the Red Sox get an all-important out.
Sends up Rosario, who's gone 0 for 3. Runners at first and second. These last few games, Minnesota's been relentless. No lead seems safe. Not yesterday, not today. 8-6 Boston. Rosario, a .257 hitter with 5 home runs. And Tazawa deals. Check swing. They do appeal, but no, says Clint Fagan.
They got to be careful with Dozier at second base because, you know, he's a guy that can take off and go. So you got to make sure that he stops. You get a double steal in this situation. You're talking about the potential tying run being in scoring position. So he needs a little bit of attention.
Tazawa facing a pretty hot hitter here in July. Rosario hitting .357 this month. And the 1-0 pitch. That one disappeared. That splitter, 1-1.
That's the best one he's thrown since being in the game. And, you know, it's the kind of split-fingered fastball you almost wish there was contact on because you may have gotten that ground ball you're looking for.
He says yes. Runners lead at first and second. And the right-hander's 1-1. Came up empty again, 1-2.
You see a swing like that, you might want to throw it again. And once again, that was the split-fingered fastball, and just kind of a wave at this one. That one not only went down, but went away from Rosario.
Tazawa says yes. Looking for the K. Would be big right here. 1 out. And timeout. And now Hannigan wants a mound visit.
Hannigan upset about something as he heads out to the mound. Put down a set of signs. Looked like he was ready to go. Then he's the one that called timeout. So he may have had second thoughts. They may be changing signs. That's a possibility of their sign selection. You know, which pitch they're gonna, which sequence of signs they're gonna use. Dozier's been out there a long time.
He leads from second. Kepler from first. Will he go back to that split here? 1-2 coming. He bounced it. Now, it gives you an idea of how the injuries to the bullpen have affected the rotation. This is a spot, no doubt, if Ziegler were not the closer, he'd be in the game. You know, with the bases loaded.
Yeah, certainly a ground ball type pitcher. It was pretty clear there that they did change signs, and I think that Hannigan had thought that Dozier was maybe seeing something. He had been out there an awful long time.
Joe Kelly's available in that bullpen. He's been called up. Here's the 2-2. And he got him. Back to that split. Rosario thinks he fouled the ball off. But he is done. He strikes out, and that's out number 2.
Well, you know, we've mentioned that before. You see swings like Rosario was taking, and, you know, why not throw it again? And they did. And there's no contact on that.
Nope.
He's just taking his time going back to the dugout like he wants his manager to argue, and there's really nothing to argue.
So runners at first and second, 2 down. And Centennial will be the batter. He's had a good day at the plate with a couple of doubles. The first one drove in 2 runs in the second inning. 8-6 Red Sox in the 8th. And Boston will have Hill, Shaw, and Brents due up in the bottom of this inning. Tazawa trying to get out of it. Strike 1. They have Abad and Rogers throwing side by side, a pair of left-handers. Dozier and Kepler on. The 0-1 fouled away, just got a piece of it. So 2 strikes on Centennial.
Oh, he got away with one there. That was a splitter right there, but it stayed up in the middle of the plate. And very fortunate for Tazawa, this ball was fouled off. That split figure didn't do much, and he knew it.
Big crowd at Fenway urging on Tazawa. 2 down, 2 strikes, and 2 on. Here's the 0-2. Trickle foul back behind the plate. He's barely alive.
That's a good pitch, too. That's a split-fingered fastball again, and a really good job by Centennial to foul that off. Just hit on top of the split-fingered fastball. You can see it going down and away, and tough pitch to foul off.
The 0-2 again. Ground ball, hard hit, and through for a base hit. Here comes Dozier. He is in to score. Kepler down to third, and it's a one-run game. Centennial with his third hit today, and the Twins just keep on coming.
You got to give some credit to Centennial there, because he fouled off a nasty split-fingered fastball and then got another one for the base hit. Here's the pitch before that he fouls off. Now that gives him another chance. He gets the second chance. It's up a little bit this time, and he's able to pull the ball, top spin it by Travis Shaw in the dive at first base. So, you know, the same pitch, different location, but he did a great job fouling that one off to get another chance.
So Minnesota has pulled within one against the Red Sox bullpen. It sends up Byron Buxton, who drove in 2 runs his last at bat with a single in the 7th. And they have the tying run at third base. First pitch fouled back, and of course the splitter in the dirt comes into play here with a runner just 90 feet away.
Absolutely.
That's where he likes to throw it.
Pressure on Hannigan.
No doubt. 8-7. Red Sox clinging to a lead.
Pedroia calling timeout. Everybody coming in to talk to Zazawa. Did he hurt himself?
I don't believe it's an injury. No.
Now, maybe on what they're going to do if there's an attempted double steal in this situation.
Now the Orioles have just won again. They beat Cleveland 5-3, so the Red Sox have to win to remain a game and a half out. Tazawa just trying to survive this inning with the lead, and a breaking ball is a little bit high. So the Orioles sweep that series from Cleveland. They got to Kluber today at Camden Yards. It's a walk-off home run by Nolan Reimold. Boy, they can hit home runs at Oriole Club. 2 down, runners on the corners, and the 1-1 pitch to Buxton. Fouled away. And the crowd back at it again on a 1-2 pitch.
This will be an interesting call. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Do you go upstairs and out of the strike zone and see if he chases it? He does do that. The other thing you got to look out for here in the 1-2 count is the possibility of the double steal.
Tazawa with a 1-2. Way too high. Hannigan had to jump up to snatch that.
Yeah, that's not even tempting to swing it. That's too high by Tazawa. They do want to elevate. As you can see, Hannigan's up, but that high is not even tempting. Now the decision, do you go back upstairs or do you go with the split, change the eye level? They're going to go back upstairs again. Nope, they're going to go with the split.
Kepler at third base. Here's the 2-2. Grounded foul as he hangs in there. And as this inning, this top of the 8th, been a battle. 2 runs in, 3 hits and a walk for Minnesota. They've cut the Red Sox lead to 8-7.
See what Hannigan's got in mind here. Breaking ball.
Buxton strikes out a lot. The pitch, and it is a breaking ball that misses. The curve inside. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, it was not supposed to be there. It was supposed to be on the outside part of the plate or off the outside part of the plate. There you saw Farrell giving the sign to Travis Shaw on the 3-2 count. He wants him just behind the runner at first base to help increase his range a little bit.
Eduardo Nunez, who has been their best hitter, is on deck. You don't want the inning to get to him. And now the 3-2. Cut on and missed. He got him. Went to the split, and that did the job. Minnesota closes the gap. 8-7 Boston. Presented by Plain Ridge Park Casino. TC and Steve Lyons will have an AL East update and recap the Hall of Fame inductions of Ken Griffey Jr. and Mike Piazza.
And congratulations to those two today getting into the Hall of Fame.
Bottom of the 8th inning, Red Sox on top 8-7.
Well, go to your best pitch. Your best pitch for the Zauer, his split-fingered fastball. Nice job by Hannigan to block it. He's going to have to tag him. He does, and out of the jam.
So they're going to bring on Rogers, Taylor Rogers, the left-hander, as he throws one to the backstop against Aaron Hill. Shaw and Brents to follow.
That ball took off like a frisbee.
Rogers 6'3", about 170 pounds. And deals the 1-0. Hill's fly to center, grounded to third, and reached on an error by the third baseman, Sano. 8 runs on 10 hits for Boston, 7 runs on 9 hits for Minnesota. Both sides have committed 1 error. He takes one in tight.
That error by Sano looks very big right now, doesn't it?
No question.
Followed by the home run by Travis Shaw.
Brad Ziegler now warming in the bullpen. He's taking over the closer duties. 2-1, fouled away. And congratulations as well to Dan Shaughnessy, the Boston Globe, the Writers Award for Cooperstown as well.
Yes, congratulations, Dan.
Some great stories over the years of Dan Shaughnessy. The 2-2 coming. Check swing, and it's inside. So 3-2, Shaw on deck. Victory for the Red Sox, and they would improve to 13-5 in July. Not going to be easy, though. Not the way this series has gone. You thought it might be. I think a lot of people were mistaken when they thought this would be a cakewalk over the Twins.
Well, this game today had easy victory written all over it early, but that has certainly changed.
John Farrell making his way through the bullpen. Heavy usage today. Rick Porcello went 6 2/3. He can win it. With a victory, Rick would be 13-2. And a 3-2 pitch on the way. Fans, don't miss NESN Live weekdays at 5:30. Get your daily dose of news and your favorite New England sports teams. NESN Live presented by Cross Insurance.
Everybody's happy. Got the baseball.
Oh, boy, does that make your week. High fly right field. He put a bit of a drive into it, but Kepler is there. And Hill is 0 for 4. CBS Health proud to support Stand Up to Cancer. We invite you to share your hashtag reasons to stand up by posting a photo or video of why you stand up to cancer and tag at CBS in action. Travis Shaw slammed a 3-run homer back in the 5th inning. Red Sox scored 5 times in that frame and led 8-3. As Jerry said, it looked like at that point it might be an easy victory. And that has not been the case. Minnesota has scored 4 times over the last 2 innings to make it a 1-run game. That's a strike.
Keeping the ball away from Shaw. Of course, he had that home run after the error by Sano back in the 5th inning, the 3-run shot.
One way off on that one, and the count 1-2. A sweeping curveball.
That's a tough pitch to hit for a left-hander right there. Lefty against lefty. You throw that breaking ball hard and away.
Shaw's in a slump right now. 4 for his last 31, despite the home run in the 5th inning. We'll see if that got him out of it. Nope, he goes down swinging and missing. Strike 3, 2 away.
And you see the difference, you know, earlier in the ball game against the left-hander Malone, he got a curveball inside that he pulled for the home run. Well, now they go to the hard breaking ball away from Travis Shaw and no contact. Back-to-back sliders away off the outside part of the plate.
Minnesota will have the top of their order due up in the 9th inning against Brad Ziegler, who's ready to go and try and close it out. Here's Bryce Brent's 1 for 3 with a single and takes strike 1. And the lineup in left field today with Brock Holt over in right. The signs are pointing toward a possible return to the lineup for Mookie Betts tomorrow against Detroit. That'll be start number 2 for the new left-hander Drew Pomeranz against Justin Verlander, who is 9-6. Foul back. Stephen Wright will go on Tuesday. Eduardo Rodriguez on Wednesday. Wednesday an afternoon game at 1:30, and then the Red Sox go west. And we'll be out west a long time. Here's the 0-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And again next. And the read thin lefty. As that one is bounded foul. They started a left-hander today in Tommy Malone. He did not get through the 5th inning. Red Sox hit him hard. 8 runs, 10 hits. Although he had come in pitching well, he had never really fared well against the Red Sox, nor at Fenway, and certainly did not today. 1-2 to the shortstop. Nunez hoovers it up, and that's all. The Red Sox a quiet 8th. They go in order. Ziegler coming on, trying to close it out. 8-7 Boston. Park at the Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center First Aid Station, located behind Section 12 on the lower concourse. Visit bidmc.org. The new closer Ziegler coming on. He tossed a hitless ninth inning last night. He's made 5 scoreless appearances, and he's retired 16 out of 17 since the Red Sox got him from Arizona. He's been awfully good. Top of the order in Nunez to lead off the ninth. The Red Sox ahead 8-7. First pitch swinging and a foul for a strike. Nunez has gone 0 for 4. He'll be followed by Mauer and then Sano. 8 runs, 10 hits for the Sox, 7 runs and 9 hits for the Twins. And it's 1-1. Rick Porcello in 6 2/3. He's in line for the win. Matt Barnes, Junichi Tozawa, and then Brad Ziegler to follow him. 1-2.
That takes a little pressure off Aaron Hill at third base. This 1-run ball game. Now he can back up. Until 2 strikes, you're kind of playing in case of a bunt. Back up a few steps and increase your range a little bit.
Nunez hitting .299, an all-star year for him. That one ties him up again with that funky delivery, changeup, sliders, and occasional fastball.
That changeup that time at 79 miles an hour.
So much of it gets hammered right into the ground. The 1-2 coming. Waved down and missed. He really did him a favor there. And down he goes, strike 3.
That's that sweeping slider we talked about a frisbee a couple of innings ago. Here's one right here. That ball was actually never in the strike zone. But a different look on the breaking ball and completely fooling Nunez.
So 1 away in the ninth. Here's Joe Mauer. He's got 1 for 4, a single back in the first inning. Hitting just .262. And Ziegler's first one from down under, a chopper. Pedroia with the pick, 2 down. And the Red Sox 1 out away from a victory and a split of this series. Red Sox need to win to remain a game and a half behind the Orioles, who have beaten Cleveland. And Sano will be the batter. Big strong third baseman has gone 1 for 4 with a single. He's hit 15 home runs, so that is certainly in the back of Ziegler's mind. And the first pitch to him. Ball 1. Two down, bases empty for the Twins. And it's 2-0.
Be very careful too against the big power hitter right here. First 2 pitches well away from Sano.
The 2-0 pitch. He's taking, and that's ball 3.
He may just have the green light.
Dozier next. 3-0 pitch taking, and it's a strike at 86 miles an hour.
And that was borderline.
Ziegler really works quickly. The 3-1. Bounding ball and a foul, and now it's 3-2. And at Fenway, they want it to end right here. Red Sox up 8-7, 2 down in the ninth, in the 3-2. He got him. He struck him out, and that finishes off the Twins. 8-7. Your final score today. Red Sox got some home runs today from Dustin Pedroia, Hanley Ramirez, and Travis Shaw. And TC in the end, just enough pitching. 8-7 your final.